Lin Chen, unexpectedly falling from a building, finds himself reborn in the summer following the 2010 college entrance examinations. In this year, the latest version of Fruit Phone has just been released, Xiaomi has just been founded, and the fierce 3Q war is in full swing. This year, Reborn, Lin Chen embarks on a path of unprecedented advancement for Hua Xia. As the roar of Hua Xia's H-20 engine reverberates along the east coast of America, and when the Thor battleship hovers above American skies, everyone realizes that Hua Xia has inadvertently ascended to the pinnacle of the world. While aiding Hua Xia's rise, Lin Chen also establishes his own commercial empire. Years later, people come to the startling realization that Lin Chen's declaration of being ahead was not merely a slogan. The narrative begins with commercial technology and transitions to the protagonist's nation-building and interstellar expeditions. Chapter 1. Caught in the act, you little brat. Why aren't you running? Keep running. I'll strip the skin off you today. A burly man with a thick beard brandished a baseball bat, glaring menacingly at a handsome young man clad only in his underwear. Brother, it's not what you think. Please, let me explain. Lin Chen trembled as he glanced back at the railing barely a meter high behind him, beyond which lay a perilous drop of 100 meters. Explain. The muscular man exclaimed in frustration. Anyone returning home to find their wife scantily clad with another man would be unmoved. It's a misunderstanding, Lin Chen pleaded, eyeing the advancing figure in dread. Please don't come any closer. As the man approached, Lin Chen clenched his fists in an attempt to muster courage. You dare to resist? The burly man sneered, swinging the bat towards Lin Chen. After dodging several strikes, Lin Chen was suddenly struck, staggering as searing pain shot through his back. Brother, you've hit me enough. Can't we just let this go? Lin Chen steadied himself, raising his hands in surrender. Damn it. You slept with my woman, and you think it can just be brushed aside? The man, enraged, lunged at Lin Chen. Damn it. I'll make sure you pay for this. The muscular man was incensed, his fury fueled by a past injury he had suffered during a drunken brawl. Under the relentless assault, Lin Chen was soon cornered against the wall. Don't come any closer. I might jump, he exclaimed desperately. Jump. If you do, I'll respect you as a man. The burly man remained unfazed by Lin Chen's threat. Lin Chen, glancing at the bat and feeling the sting of his injuries, was driven to leap over the railing. If you approach, I'll really jump. I have your injuries on me. If I fall, you won't escape responsibility. Gripping the railing tightly, Lin Chen looked down at the dizzying height, his legs turning to jelly. The burly man, hearing Lin Chen's words, suddenly became more alert. Although he knew Lin Chen was unlikely to jump, the possibility loomed. If Lin Chen fell, the consequences would be dire, and he could face decades in prison. Come back up. I won't hit you anymore. Let us discuss compensation. Brother, it's fine. I don't want your compensation. Just leave, and I'll come back up. Lin Chen thought the man surprisingly amiable for offering compensation after attacking him. Damn it. You think you can sleep with my wife and still ask for compensation? The man's anger flared again. Just a joke, brother. Don't be so worked up. Lin Chen, seeing the man approach again with the bat, felt his resolve falter. How much do you want? I'll pay you. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept by, causing Lin Chen to lose his footing and plummet. Oh no, I haven't backed up my phone yet. If there is a next life, I'll never be a thief again. This was Lin Chen's final thought before he made contact with the ground, his body shattering upon impact. The scene was more horrifying than a horror film. Bystanders gasped in shock, followed by terrified screams as Lin Chen fell. The burly man, witnessing Lin Chen's fall, trembled in fear. After hearing the sickening thud, he cautiously approached the railing, peering down to see Lin Chen's broken body. Brain matter splattered everywhere. Overwhelmed, he collapsed to the ground. After some time, the man regained his composure and shakily dialed the police. Chapter 2. Rebirth. Hey, Lin Chen, I'm asking you, which university do you plan to apply to? At the school gate, a tall girl in loose-fitting school attire gazed intently at Lin Chen, her eyes sparkling with a hint of shyness and a bright smile akin to blooming flowers. Huh. Lin Chen, caught off guard by the beautiful girl, momentarily forgot that he had just jumped off a building. What, huh? Were you even listening? The girl pouted at him. Shannan, Lin Chen asked uncertainly. What is wrong with you today? You seem distracted. She reached out to check his forehead with concern. I'm fine, I just spaced out. What were you asking me? Lin Chen stepped back, creating distance between them, and inquired again. I asked which university you plan to attend. Shannan feigned annoyance. Lin Chen surveyed the familiar surroundings and the girl before him, noticing his slightly faded school uniform, and he finally snapped back to reality. He had indeed been reborn. He was once again the hopeful youth of summer in 2010. The lovely girl before him was his first love during school days. Fine, if you want the answer. I'll take that as a no. Shen Nan, thinking he was unwilling to respond, turned to chase after her friend. Fudan University. I'm applying to Fudan University. Lin Chen called out loudly, disregarding the curious stares of passers-by. I got it. Shen Nan waved her hand enthusiastically without looking back, beaming as she rushed off to join her friend. Damn, youth, I'm back. To hell with pride. I'm going to live a life unlike any other. Lin Chen watched Shen Nan's retreating figure, exhilarated, and couldn't he help but pump his fist in excitement. In this life, he would no longer be plagued by self-doubt. Only by entering society would he realize how foolish his previous choices had been. With no education, no skills, no connections, and a meek demeanor, he was nothing in this world. As Lin Chen solidified his resolve, darkness suddenly enveloped him, and he felt the world spin around him. When he regained his senses, he found himself in a vast library, surrounded by what seemed to be an infinite collection of books. Just as he was at a loss, a stream of information surged into his mind. Lin Chen soon learned that this library housed a wealth of knowledge encompassing the entirety of the universe's technology. From the minutiae of a lighter to the construction techniques of a neutron star battleship, it was truly a treasure trove. As for why Lin Chen found himself here, that remained a mystery. Upon grasping this reality, Lin Chen felt elated. Indeed, this was the hallmark of a reborn individual or a time traveler. Additionally, Lin Chen discovered that the books on the shelves, though appearing as such, were merely the library's way of presenting these technologies in a more comprehensible format. As long as he desires, he can directly retrieve any technology in his mind, and these technologies will seamlessly integrate into his knowledge. This prospect fills Lin Chen with immense excitement. Otherwise, he would never learn many skills in his lifetime. However, amidst his joy, he feels a twinge of regret, as he realizes that to replicate these technologies in reality, he must still take matters into his own hands. Moreover, acquiring these technologies requires a certain amount of emotional currency. The means to obtain emotional currency is quite simple. Whenever someone experiences sadness, joy, or admiration because of Lin Chen, they contribute emotional currency to him, with each individual being able to contribute a maximum of 1 point per day. Upon grasping this concept, Lin Chen can hardly contain his elation. After savoring his happiness, an overwhelming flood of memories suddenly surged into his mind, causing events from many years ago to resurface vividly. Lin Chen was originally an orphan, devoid of parents from a young age, having lived in an orphanage since he could remember. This identity subjected him to ridicule from many peers throughout his educational journey. Although he encountered numerous kind-hearted individuals who offered assistance, the label of orphan rendered him exceptionally sensitive. Thus, after graduating from middle school, he moved out of the orphanage. During the high school entrance examination, he achieved remarkable scores, securing a place in a prestigious high school. Throughout his high school years, he never disclosed his status as an orphan, and having left the orphanage without its support, he had to work diligently to support himself. However, as a young teenager, finding a part-time job proved challenging. Eventually, a compassionate supermarket owner recognized his plight and allowed him to work as a shelf stocker after school. Thus, Lin Chen juggled his studies and work until the day of the college entrance examination arrived. Unsurprisingly, Lin Chen scored an impressive 699 points, a score sufficient for admission to his dream university. Yet, fate had other plans. Reflecting on this, Lin Chen couldn't help but shake his head in a bittersweet smile. For a journalist had learned of his story through the supermarket owner, leading to the exposure of his orphan status and subsequently attracting widespread attention. In his previous life, his pride had led him to avoid the reality of his situation, causing him to forego applying for colleges and instead seek work down south, ultimately robbing him of the chance to alter his destiny. He often pondered how different his life might have been had he not acted impulsively in those formative years. Resolute, Lin Chen clenched his fist. This time, he would carve out a distinctly different life. Chapter 3. Gujun Lin Chen, you're back. As Lin Chen approached the supermarket entrance, the owner, Lu Dehai, greeted him warmly. Uncle Lu, I'm back, Lin Chen responded, reflecting on the somewhat portly middle-aged man before him. During his 3 years in high school, without Lu's support, he would have struggled to survive. Although he had previously resented Lu due to the reporter's inquiry, He now recognized that Liu had only acted in his best interest. "There's a reporter who wants to interview you about your story. What do you think?" Liu Dehai pulled Lin Chen aside and inquired softly. Aware of Lin Chen's sensitivity regarding his orphan status and wanting to seek his permission first. "I have no objections," Lin Chen replied without hesitation. "Really? That's fantastic. The reporter is currently inside the supermarket. Wait here while I bring him out," Liu Dehai exclaimed, surprised, as he had unknowingly learned of Lin Chen's identity over the past 3 years, while Lin Chen had always been sensitive about it. Soon, Liu Dehai returned, accompanied by a young man about 175 meters tall, with a well-proportioned physique. "Hello, Lin. I'm Gu Jun, a reporter from Sunshine newspaper." Gu Jun's eyes lit up upon seeing Lin Chen. Although Lin Chen wore a somewhat faded school uniform, he stood tall at nearly 1.8 meters. With striking features, his prominent brows reminiscent of a sword. While he may not rival the most esteemed readers in appearance, he could at least hold his own against the likes of Wu Yanzu. "Hello, I'm Lin Chen." Lin Chen extended his hand for a handshake. "Truly, you are a remarkable young man," Gu Jun complimented. "You flatter me," Lin Chen replied, shaking Gu Jun's hand. "How about we find a quiet place to talk for a bit?" Gu Jun suggested, observing the bustling supermarket. "Apologies, but I still have to work. Perhaps we can speak after my shift?" Lin Chen declined, aware that he could not be reckless during working hours, even if he would not be here for long. "Go ahead, I'll give you the day off," Liu Dehai interjected with a smile. "Well, all right then." Lin Chen hesitated for a moment before agreeing. Before long, Lin Chen followed Gu Jun to a nearby tea house named Pinming. "Lin, would you like something to drink?" Gu Jun inquired as they settled into a private room. "Just plain water will suffice," Lin Chen replied, shaking his head, as he had no knowledge of such places, having never visited a tea house in either his previous or current life. "Haha, then let us order a pot of Longjing tea." Gu Jun laughed heartily, directing the server accordingly. "I've learned a bit about your story from Liu. I must say, I greatly admire you." Once the server left, Gu Jun could not help but give Lin Chen a thumbs up. To manage part-time work while keeping up with studies for 3 years is truly commendable. Lin Chen offered a wry smile and shook his head. If it weren't for life's circumstances, who would choose such a lifestyle? Even with his rebirth, he wished to forget those arduous 3 years. Each day after school, he not only had to work at the supermarket, but also study diligently, often staying up until past 1 in the morning. He felt incredibly fortunate to have survived without collapsing from exhaustion. "I presume you are aware of my intentions for this visit. I wish to report your story to raise awareness and garner assistance for you. In doing so, I might receive accolades, and you could gain support from society. What are your thoughts?" Gu Jun stated directly. "I have no objections. Feel free to ask me anything," Lin Chen responded, shaking his head. After years of working, Lin Chen had grown indifferent to others' opinions. In a society driven by wealth, without money, one is worth little. Moreover, to exchange knowledge from the library, emotional currency is essential. "If I ask something inappropriate, please let me know," Gu Jun said after considering his words. "All right, no problem." Lin Chen nodded. "Could you briefly outline how you've lived over the years?" Gu Jun inquired as he opened his laptop. Chapter 4. The interview since I can remember. "I have lived in an orphanage," Lin Chen recounted, half-truthfully, some of the experiences from his life over the past decade. To earn more emotional currency, he emphasized his harrowing experiences, detailing how he faced ridicule and discrimination from classmates, and how difficult life had been. His narrative even brought tears to the eyes of Gu Jun, the young reporter who had only recently graduated. Seeing Gu Jun's expression, Lin Chen imagined receiving a notification for 1 emotional currency point. "Apologies for making you witness this. I deeply sympathize with your experiences, Lin." After Lin Chen finished speaking, Gu Jun wiped his tears and looked at him with genuine compassion. "It's all right. I've endured the toughest days. I believe the future will be brighter." Lin Chen feigned sorrow as he spoke. "Have you considered the issue of university tuition?" Gu Jun continued with his questions. "It is said that there is a significant shortage of laborers at construction sites nowadays. I plan to work as a laborer for 2 months to earn enough money for my tuition. As for my living expenses, I will look for a part-time job once I start university." Lin Chen spoke with conviction. Although he had been reborn and possessed knowledge of various lucrative ventures, the meager sum of less than 500 yuan he had on hand made it impossible to initiate any project. Even covering next month's rent and meals seemed daunting. Gu Jun looked at Lin Chen with admiration. The saying about children from impoverished backgrounds growing up quickly seemed exceptionally true in this instance. Reflecting on his own life after the college entrance examination, he felt a profound sense of gratitude. You can apply for a scholarship during your university years. Although it may not be substantial, it can at least alleviate some of your living costs, Gu Jun suggested. A scholarship? Lin Chen was somewhat bewildered, having never heard of such a thing before. Yes, it's a form of financial aid provided by the government for students from low-income families. You can look online to see what documents are required and bring them along when the semester starts, Gu Jun explained, albeit with limited knowledge of the specifics. Thank you. I'll check the information shortly, Lin Chen replied, feeling a surge of happiness. Despite his rebirth and the advantages it conferred, he was uncertain about earning enough for his living expenses within the 2 months. Do you have any dreams about university life? Gu Jun inquired, noticing that his suggestion had a positive impact on Lin Chen. Just live well, Lin Chen replied casually, feeling no particular anticipation for university life at the moment. His offhand comment almost caused Gu Jun to lose his composure. After regaining his composure, he expressed, I believe you, Lin Chen, will have a bright future. Thank you. I believe so as well, Lin Chen affirmed resolutely. Thank you for participating in my interview. This is a small token of my appreciation, and I hope it helps you, Gu Jun said, pulling out a red envelope from his backpack and handing it to Lin Chen. I appreciate your kindness, but I cannot accept this. If there is nothing else, I'll take my leave. Lin Chen quickly declined the envelope and exited the tea house without looking back. Although he was in dire need of money, he did not wish to accept charity. Gu Jun watched Lin Chen's departing figure, feeling a mix of emotions. This only reinforced his resolve to share Lin Chen's story with a broader audience. After leaving the tea house, Lin Chen returned directly to his rented accommodation. He resided in a modest 20-square-meter room located in a village within Haiqing. The dwelling consisted of a bedroom, a bathroom, and a kitchen. Once inside, Lin Chen collapsed onto his bed, lost in deep contemplation. After a moment of aimless thoughts, he experienced a familiar sensation of dizziness and found himself back in the library. Lin Chen intended to examine the resources available there. Currently, he had accumulated 3 points of emotional value, contributed by Shun Nan, Lu Dehai, and Gu Jun. Upon exploring the library, he discovered that his 3 points of emotional value could only be exchanged for rudimentary skills, such as lighting a fire, using a needle for embroidery, or even folding a paper airplane. Lin Chen could not help but criticize the stinginess of the library. Other individuals with similar advantages often received a beginner-esque gift pack. Yet he had nothing of the sort. After a brief study of the library, Lin Chen exited, realizing that his paltry 3 points of emotional value were of no assistance to him at present. To acquire a skill of even modest complexity would require tens of thousands of points. Habitually, Lin Chen reached under his pillow, intending to retrieve his phone for a moment of distraction, only to remember he did not own one. Purchasing a phone would cost at least a couple of hundred yuan, and the monthly service fees would be a considerable burden for him. He felt that, for the time being, a phone was unnecessary, which was why he had not purchased one. Suddenly, a growl from his stomach reminded him of his hunger. Glancing at the clock on the wall, he noted it was nearly 1 in the afternoon. He made his way to the kitchen to see what ingredients he had. After rummaging for a while, he found only half a bag of flour and a few green vegetables. It dawned on him that to save money, he had been making his own noodles. With no other option, he relied on his memory to prepare another batch of noodles. Fortunately, despite years of striving in the bustling metropolis, he had not lost his basic culinary skills, and soon he had a generous bowl of vegetable noodles ready. After devouring the bowl, Lin Chen patted his belly in satisfaction. Returning to his bedroom, he glanced at the calendar. According to his markings, today was June 27, 2010, in the lunar calendar. Just a few days earlier, a new smartphone called Fruit 4 had been released, marking the dawn of the mobile internet era. Chapter 5. Filling out application forms. A multitude of mobile internet giants in China emerged during these years, such as ByteDance, Meituan, Didi, and Pinduoduo. Additionally, a significant trend was the concept of sharing, with the most notable project being the Shared Bicycle Initiative. Although this project would face dire consequences in the future, selling it before the impending crisis could yield substantial profit. However, one crucial aspect remained: securing initial funding. Without capital, even the best project would be rendered futile. As for seeking venture capital, there was a risk that as soon as he pitched his project, it might be launched the very next day. Only once he had initiated the project and achieved a certain scale would he possess the leverage to negotiate with investment firms. With these thoughts swirling in his mind, Lin Chen scratched his head in frustration. How could he earn his first pot of gold? After pondering for a long while, he had yet to devise a satisfactory solution. Everything would depend on how his story was reported by the journalist, and then he could assess the quantity of emotional value generated to see what skills he could exchange. For now, his priority was simply to sustain himself. With a resigned gesture, Lin Chen tossed his pen onto the table and stepped outside. Once outdoors, he visited a nearby shop, spending 20 yuan on a pack of cigarettes. He then mounted the bicycle he had purchased for 50 yuan, an old, second-hand model, and headed towards the nearest construction site. After riding for less than 3 kilometers, Lin Chen found a construction site managed by Haicheng Sifang Construction Group. However, he was aware that this was likely a project subcontracted by a winning bid company, which was no secret in the construction industry. He approached the security booth, offering a cigarette to the guard while inquiring, "Excuse me, is this site still hiring?" The guard accepted the cigarette, eyeing Lin Chen's youthful face with curiosity. "What brings you here, young lad? Do you think you can handle the hardships?" "Hey, we're all children of poor families. What hardship haven't we endured? As long as there's money to be made, I'm in," Lin Chen replied nonchalantly. "Just a moment, let me call and check," the guard said, dialing his project manager's son on the office phone. "Come in and cool off while you wait. The project manager will be here shortly." After hanging up, he turned to Lin Chen and added, "All right, thank you." It was late June, the peak of summer, and the sun blazed fiercely around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Once inside the booth, Lin Chen had barely exchanged a few words with the guard when a plump middle-aged man rushed in. "Are you the one looking for work?" the project manager asked, scrutinizing Lin Chen. "Yes, that's me," Lin Chen replied with confidence. "What skills do you possess?" The project manager continued his inquiry. "The electrician and the mason are both viable options. I will choose whichever offers the higher salary," Lin Chen candidly expressed. In his previous life, he initially worked as a mason before learning plumbing and electrical skills. Thus, he was familiar with both trades. "You can do both?" the project manager questioned skeptically. Although Lin Chen's attire was somewhat shabby, his youthful complexion belied the image of someone engaged in such labor. "I can indeed, and if you doubt my capabilities, I can demonstrate them for you," Lin Chen replied confidently. "Very well, follow me and let us see," the project manager said as he led Lin Chen into the construction site. "Currently, we are in urgent need of masons, so you shall work as one." After the assessment, the project manager addressed Lin Chen with satisfaction. "What will my salary be?" Lin Chen inquired. "I must inform you in advance that I will be heading to university next month, hence I can only work here for a month at most, and I would need my wages settled upon my departure." Lin Chen considered the timeline. In a month, he anticipated accumulating a significant amount of emotional value, allowing him to exchange for some skills. Thus, he would not need to continue laboring in such a capacity. The project manager hesitated, feeling somewhat embarrassed. After all, most workers on site were paid at year's end, and since Lin Chen could only work for a month, he would eventually need to recruit someone anew after Lin Chen's departure. Acknowledging the project manager's predicament from his past experiences on construction sites, Lin Chen continued, "How about this? You can offer me a lower wage, and I promise to complete my tasks before I leave." "All right then. Our standard wage for skilled masons is 230 yuan a day, while for laborers it is 120. Given your proficiency, how does 170 yuan a day sound?" The project manager, after scrutinizing Lin Chen's appearance, spoke with a hint of reluctance. "That is acceptable. Thank you very much." Lin Chen expressed his gratitude, initially expecting a mere 100 yuan. "If you have no other commitments today, you can start immediately. I will count today as your first day's wage," the project manager added. "Certainly, I am ready," Lin Chen replied eagerly. Soon after, Lin Chen accompanied the project manager to the project office to receive a red hard hat. Looking at the hard hat in his hands, he couldn't help but chuckle bitterly. He must be the most unfortunate time traveler, starting his new life on a construction site from day one. That evening, after work, Lin Chen visited the supermarket to inform Lu Dehai that he could no longer continue with his part-time job. Lu Dehai, having anticipated this day, did not attempt to persuade him to stay, instead offering his support should Lin Chen encounter any difficulties in the future. Lu Dehai's attitude moved Lin Chen deeply. Time swiftly passed to July 3rd. During his lunch break, Lin Chen, filled with excitement, arrived at an internet cafe. In his previous life, he had been working at a construction site in the metropolis around this time. But in this life, although he found himself in similar circumstances, from this day forward, his destiny would be irrevocably transformed. Shortly, Lin Chen paid 5 yuan for an hour of computer usage. Upon logging in, he accessed the college application website and carefully retrieved his admission ticket from his pocket. After entering the identification number and double-checking it, he proceeded. He designated Fudan University as his first choice. However, when selecting a major, he hesitated. Fudan's prestigious programs included mathematics, clinical medicine, and philosophy, while he intended to apply for information engineering. Yet, he quickly realized that the specific major was of little consequence to him. Thus, he decisively filled in the application. For his second and third choices, he selected Zhejiang University and the University of Science and Technology of China, respectively. After completing the applications, he sighed with relief, finally poised to fulfill the regrets of his previous life. Having dazedly contemplated for a moment, he noticed there was still time left, so he logged on to QQ. However, upon opening his contact list, he couldn't help but smile wryly. It contained only 3 contacts, all of whom had yet to set their avatars. 2 were ordinary high school classmates, but one stood out. Shen Nan, the person he had once cared about deeply. He had felt elated upon adding her QQ. Yet they had never communicated thereafter. Chapter 6. Searching for Lin Chen at that moment, his headphones emitted 2 beeping sounds. Lin Chen opened the message to find it was from Shen Nan. Is this you? Lin Chen replied, yes. I thought you had gone missing since we hadn't been in touch for so long. Shen Nan's message was accompanied by an angry emoticon. I've been quite busy lately and haven't had time to go online. Lin Chen, seeing the angry emoticon, felt bewildered. Were they close enough for such emotions? Oh, have you submitted your application? Is it for Fudan University? Shen Nan inquired further. Yes, I applied to Fudan University for information engineering. What about you? Lin Chen responded honestly. What a coincidence. I'm also applying to Fudan, but for economics. Shen Nan replied, her excitement palpable. We can register together when school starts. Upon receiving Lin Chen's response, she smiled brightly, though she had yet to submit her application, wanting to confirm Lin Chen's enrollment at Fudan first. Now that she received confirmation, Shen Nan wasted no time in completing her application. Well, let us see when the time comes, Lin Chen mused, considering that he might already be on his way by the end of this month. After all, his primary goal was to earn money. He was truly tired of being poor. Make sure to let me know before you leave, Shen Nan urged, somewhat exasperated by Lin Chen's response, thinking he was truly dense for not appreciating the opportunity. Okay, my time online is up. I have to get back to work. We'll talk later, she concluded. Lin Chen, feeling somewhat overwhelmed by Shen Nan's enthusiasm, wondered if she might have feelings for him. He quickly shook his head. As a well-known impoverished individual, who would be interested in him? Steadying himself, Lin Chen did not wait for Shen Nan's reply, logging off to begin his afternoon labor. As Shen Nan watched Lin Chen's avatar fade to gray, she pondered, am I that frightening? Editor, how do you find my article? Gu Jun presented his written piece for the editor's review. Is this story genuine? The editor asked, scrutinizing the content. Absolutely. I even visited the orphanage and school Lin Chen attended to gather information, Gu Jun assured him. Excellent work. This article is bound to become a social sensation. Send it out immediately, and I will coordinate with the publicity department for promotion, the editor exclaimed with excitement. Understood. Gu Jun quickly opened his computer and published an article titled The Most Inspirational Rural Student on several major news websites. The article detailed Lin Chen's remarkable journey and his high scores in the college entrance examination. Before long, with the support of the newspaper's publicity department, the report gained rapid traction and within 3 days had become a societal focal point. Those who read the article were deeply moved by Lin Chen's inspiring story, prompting many to call the newspaper to inquire about his address and donation channels to offer their support. Meanwhile, the high school QQ group Lin Chen belonged to erupted in discussions. Wow, everyone look! Is this our classmate Lin Chen? One classmate exclaimed after sharing the article. It is indeed him. I always thought he was merely from a poor family, but I had no idea he was an orphan, another classmate affirmed after reading the report. Oh no, Lin Chen is so pitiful, a female classmate expressed with overflowing sympathy. Peering at the screen, Shen Nan's eyes turned red after reading the message, tears streaming down uncontrollably. No wonder he had been unable to contact Lin Chen. It turned out he had been working tirelessly. The thought of Lin Chen laboring under the scorching sun only intensified his sorrow, prompting him to sob heartily. Lin Chen is truly remarkable, juggling work and school while achieving an impressive score of 699. He is indeed a role model for our generation. A classmate remarked with admiration. He truly is an orphan. I was right to criticize him before. Zhang Pengfei, who had previously clashed with Lin Chen, said with a hint of schadenfreude. Why don't you try being a decent person? So what if he's an orphan? He still managed to get into a good university. And what about you? A fellow student quickly defended Lin Chen, clearly inciting the ire of others. To hell with it. So what if he got into a good university? My family is wealthy. Even if I attend a prestigious university, I'll still have to work for my living. Zhang Pengfei retorted angrily, having been struck where it hurt. Especially since he had not even managed to qualify for a vocational school this time. You have been removed from the group chat. Suddenly, a striking message made Zhang Pengfei explode with rage. Hu Lidong, just wait for me. As an administrator, he realized that only the group owner could expel him, leading him to think of Hu Yado. This incident escalated in society, prompting many to seek out Lin Chen's homeroom teacher to inquire about his contact details and address. Upon learning of Lin Chen's plight, his teacher, Zhang Yan, was taken aback. However, she only knew his address and lacked his contact information. But when they arrived at Lin Chen's residence, their efforts were in vain, as he was working late at a construction site due to tight deadlines. In no time, numerous posts about Lin Chen appeared online. The disappeared, where has Lin Chen gone? High reward for Lin Chen, and so on. Meanwhile, Lin Chen, the subject of this frenzy, remained blissfully unaware, laboring nearly 14 hours a day, with no mental capacity left to ponder other matters. Upon returning home, his immediate desire was to collapse onto his bed. The ever-increasing emotional turmoil hinted to Lin Chen that his story had likely been made public. As the days passed, discussions about Lin Chen gradually diminished, replaced by other topics, with only sporadic mentions in the margins of certain websites. Are you certain Lin Chen is here? On this day, Gu Jun followed a postal courier to a construction site. Yes, this is his admission notice. It cannot be mistaken, the courier assured confidently. Gu Jun recalled that during his interview with Lin Chen, Lin had mentioned working at a construction site. Excuse me, is there a young man named Lin Chen here? Upon reaching the guard booth, the courier eagerly inquired. Yes. You must be here to deliver his admission notice. The elderly guard had a vivid memory of Lin Chen, as he had specifically mentioned that a postal package would arrive for him. Gu Jun and the courier exchanged delighted glances, and the courier continued. Yes. Can you please take me to him? I need to deliver this admission notice directly into his hands. Please wait a moment. I cannot leave my post right now. I will call someone to guide you, the elderly guard replied, promptly dialing a number. Before long, a patrolling security guard arrived from the construction site. Follow me. Lin Chen is just ahead. The guard skillfully led Gu Jun and the courier towards the site. Lin Chen, someone is looking for you. Upon reaching a construction area, the guard called out to a figure on the scaffolding. Coming. Just give me a moment. Lin Chen, working diligently shirtless, was unaware of who was calling him, but responded promptly. Lin Chen. Gu Jun asked uncertainly. The sight before him was of a young man covered in dirt, his skin darkened by the sun. His bare torso was grimy from sweat and dust, and his trousers were tattered and caked in grime. A stark contrast to the handsome young man he had met earlier. Gu Jun quickly retrieved his camera, capturing several shots of Lin Chen before setting up a tripod to aim the camera at him. Reporter Gu? Lin Chen asked, somewhat surprised. Congratulations. Your admission notice has arrived. Gu Jun exclaimed, pointing to the postal courier beside him. The courier presented Lin Chen with his admission notice, offering congratulations. Lin Chen was elated, quickly wiping his dirty hands on his trousers before accepting the package. Thank you, I really appreciate it, he said gratefully to the courier. Haha, it's my duty. Once again, congratulations. Please show me your ID for confirmation and sign here, the courier requested, gesturing to a corner of the delivery slip. Just a moment. My ID is in my pocket. I'll retrieve it, Lin Chen replied, running towards his usual resting area, while Gu Jun followed closely with the camera. Do you usually rest here? Gu Jun asked, filming the newly constructed building. Yes, we have a break of over an hour at noon. After work, we lie down here for a bit. Lin Chen nodded, heading to a spot with a cooling mat to retrieve his shirt and ID. Gu Jun felt a pang of sadness. While others his age were enjoying a carefree summer, Lin Chen was already working hard to earn his tuition. Once Lin Chen had his ID, he promptly ran back to the courier. After examining the ID, the courier encouraged him, keep it up, Lin Chen. Thank you. Lin Chen replied, warmth filling his heart. After the courier departed, Lin Chen turned to Gu Jun and asked, why haven't you left? Gu Jun chuckled. I finally found you with great difficulty. I'm here specifically to interview you. I searched for you at your residence several times, but couldn't find you. Then I thought since the admission notice was being delivered, I could follow the courier to find you. So here I am. Oh, didn't you interview me last time? Lin Chen asked, puzzled. After I published the news about you, it sparked significant interest in society, and many people wanted to sponsor your education. But they couldn't find your contact information. So this time, I have an important mission, Gu Jun explained. Having been eager to help Lin Chen since learning about his situation, please thank them for me. The money I earned this summer is sufficient for my tuition. If they wish to donate, they should give it to someone who needs it more. I appreciate their kindness, Lin Chen said, bowing slightly to the camera. You may have earned enough for tuition, but what about your living expenses? University courses are quite demanding. If you neglect your studies for the sake of living costs, it would be counterproductive. Gu Jun was not surprised by Lin Chen's refusal, but continued to urge him earnestly. You mentioned that there are scholarships in university. I will see if I can apply for one, and if so, I can take up a part-time job that won't interfere with my studies, Lin Chen replied resolutely. Having never accepted donations in his previous life, he was equally determined in this one. Moreover, Lin Chen was confident in his abilities and believed that earning his first bucket of gold would not pose a significant challenge. Why are you so stubborn, my child? What if your scholarship application is unsuccessful? Besides, accepting their assistance means that when you are capable, you can help others in return. Gu Jun looked at Lin Chen with a headache, surprised by his tenacity. It's different. No one's money comes from the wind. I have hands and feet. Why should I rely on others for help? If that is your purpose in coming here, I think you can leave. Lin Chen replied resolutely. Hey, what's going on? Gu Jun sighed deeply. All right, since you refuse to accept donations, let it be. May I record your daily life? Rest assured, I will not disturb you. Gu Jun said helplessly. All right, I'll go to the engineering department and request a safety helmet for you. Lin Chen agreed, seeing the potential for exposure in the task. Soon, after explaining the situation, the project manager personally delivered a white safety helmet to Gu Jun. He then arrived early at the construction site to ensure that everything was in accordance with safety regulations. After all, this would be broadcasted externally. Although he wasn't the main character, he wouldn't want to be seen amid dangerous construction practices. Have you done this before? Gu Jun asked, astonished as he watched Lin Chen skillfully laying bricks. Sort of, Lin Chen replied ambiguously, as he had indeed done it, albeit in a previous life. How much do you earn in a day? Gu Jun inquired, sweat beading on his forehead. The weather was scorching, particularly as noon approached, with temperatures soaring to 37 degrees Celsius, feeling even hotter. 170 a day. I get paid for each day worked, Lin Chen said, wiping the sweat from his forehead while continuing to lay bricks. Gu Jun was somewhat taken aback. Earning 170 a day meant 5,100 a month, nearly matching his current salary. However, Gu Jun thought to himself that he would rather earn less than endure such hardship, especially without any days off. Thus, Lin Chen continued to chat with Gu Jun while working, and soon it was time for lunch. Is this all you're having for lunch? Gu Jun asked, watching Lin Chen serve himself a large bowl of plain noodles and 2 big steamed buns, feeling a pang of sympathy. Lin Chen replied, diving into his meal. At his age, he had a hearty appetite, and after a morning of labor, he was famished. Gu Jun couldn't resist taking out his camera again, capturing a close-up of Lin Chen devouring his food. Chapter 8. The bricklaying concludes after lunch. Lin Chen returned to the framework house with a bamboo mat, casually folding his shirt to use as a makeshift pillow, and promptly fell asleep. Gu Jun filmed Lin Chen for a moment, feeling a twinge of sadness. Lin Chen was enduring hardships that someone his age shouldn't have to face. Soon, it was time to start working again, and Lin Chen resumed his repetitive tasks, chatting with Gu Jun as he laid bricks. By afternoon, Lin Chen had a large serving of rice, a plate of stir-fried cabbage, and a portion of braised pork from the site canteen. After all, this was labor-intensive work. Without some meat, he would lack energy for the next day. After finishing his meal, Lin Chen returned to bricklaying due to the construction deadline, working until nearly midnight to conclude the day. The intensity of the work made Gu Jun, who was observing, feel a pang of sympathy. How are you getting home? Lin Chen asked, a hint of fatigue in his voice as he mounted his worn-out bicycle. Of course, I'm going with you. I said I'd film you all day, and until you rest, my work isn't done, Gu Jun replied without hesitation, throwing his bag onto the back of Lin Chen's bicycle. Suit yourself, Lin Chen said, somewhat speechless at Gu Jun's dedication. Soon, upon arriving at Lin Chen's rented room, Gu Jun filmed around the space, noting that aside from a fan, there were almost no electrical appliances. The bedside table was piled high with various books and exam papers. Gu Jun randomly picked up a book and found it filled with dense notes. Did you make all these notes? Gu Jun felt he had asked a redundant question. You rest here. I'll go make something to eat, Lin Chen said, having worked several hours and feeling quite hungry. All right, Gu Jun replied, securing the camera. Lin Chen first took a cold shower, then casually put on a pair of beach shorts and headed to the kitchen, skillfully kneading dough to make hand-pulled noodles. After tossing the noodles into boiling water, he added salt and vegetables just before they were done, finishing with 2 beaten eggs. In no time, a fragrant pot of vegetable and egg noodles was ready. He grabbed 2 bowls, serving up the noodles and bringing one to Gu Jun. Here, you haven't eaten much today. You must be hungry. You made this. It smells amazing, Gu Jun exclaimed, his appetite instantly ignited upon catching the aroma. It's delicious. Gu Jun took a bite and immediately gave Lin Chen a thumbs up. Lin Chen was somewhat speechless. Was a bowl of vegetable noodles really that impressive? With that look of yours, you could consider entering the entertainment industry, Gu Jun remarked. During the meal, Gu Jun admired Lin Chen's handsome features. Slightly tanned skin from working outdoors, and the defined six-pack that added to his masculine charm. Please don't mock me. Lin Chen shook his head in self-deprecation, joking that his talents would be better suited for adult films in Japan. After finishing their meal, Lin Chen washed the dishes and began reading a programming book. The only way he could think of quickly earning his first pot of gold was through the internet. Traditional industries required significant capital, whereas the internet could be accessed with just a computer. Wait, you know programming? Gu Jun asked, astonished. A little, Lin Chen replied modestly. He had already spent 100,000 emotional points to exchange for a basic programming package that included languages like Java and C. Impressive. Gu Jun regarded Lin Chen with newfound respect, no longer seeing him merely as a child with a hard life. Individuals with such resilient character and strong purpose generally thrive in society. I'm preparing to sleep. When are you heading back? Lin Chen yawned around 2 o'clock, asking Gu Jun. Go ahead and sleep. My interview has concluded. Here is my business card. If you need anything in the future, feel free to contact me, Gu Jun said as he packed up his things and handed Lin Chen his card. Okay. Lin Chen accepted the card with both hands, placing it inside the programming book he was reading. 2 days later, an interview video titled Lin Chen, the most inspirational child from a humble background in 2010, went viral online. People felt for Lin Chen, noting his impressive bricklaying skills comparable to those of a seasoned craftsman, wondering how much hardship he had endured over the years. Lin Chen is a true man. He would rather suffer than accept charity. In this 21st century, where is our government? Shouldn't there be subsidies for situations like this? Exactly. We should support the underprivileged. Remarkable. Balancing work and study while getting into Fudan University, and look at my unaccomplished child, who did nothing for 3 years in high school and ended up in a vocational program. I can't help but feel compelled to express my frustration. Getting into Fudan University is no accident. Just look at that wall of books. I firmly believe this child will achieve great things in the future. Lin Chen experienced both suffering and joy these past few days. Since his workplace became public knowledge, many journalists sought to interview him, with numerous individuals waiting outside his door. Certainly, there were many compassionate individuals who visited him, bearing donations of money and goods, yet he steadfastly declined their offerings. Nevertheless, even in his refusal, numerous well-wishers took it upon themselves to leave their contributions at his doorstep in his absence, while cash was discreetly slipped through the cracks of his door. This gesture left Lin Chen both touched and somewhat amused, as he lamented to himself about being the most unfortunate time traveler. Not only did he toil at a construction site on his very first day, but he now found himself reliant on the assistance of countless netizens. Yet, Lin Chen ultimately chose not to accept these funds. The items and money donated by those kind-hearted individuals were primarily sent to the orphanage he had once called home. The reason he used primarily was that one particular item, a laptop, was kept for his own use, as he considered the convenience it would provide for programming at an internet cafe. This decision once again earned him accolades from numerous internet users, garnering him another wave of emotional support. As the situation escalated, even the president of Fudan University became aware of Lin Chen's actions, publicly expressing admiration through official channels and announcing the waiver of his tuition fees. Of course, Lin Chen, who was almost entirely cut off from the outside world, remained blissfully unaware of these developments. Thus, time meandered into the final day of July. After finishing his work that evening, Lin Chen exhaled deeply. The month spent laboring at the construction site had indeed posed a significant challenge for him. On August 1st, Lin Chen arrived early at the project office to settle his wages with the project manager. You started on the 27th of last month, and I promised to calculate your pay as if you worked a full day for half a day's work. So you have worked a total of 35 days up until yesterday. Do you see any discrepancies? The project manager kindly inquired. No, that is correct. Lin Chen nodded in affirmation. Additionally, due to the urgency of our schedule, we have added an extra half day of work each day. So for those 35 days, I will calculate your pay for 16 days, totaling 51 days of wages, which amounts to 8,670 yuan. We'll round it up to 8,700 yuan. The manager stated, diligently computing the figures on his calculator. Lin Chen nodded once more. This sum includes 10,000 yuan, with the excess being a bonus from our project department. Thanks to your efforts, our project has progressed swiftly, and this is our way of rewarding you. As per the boss's wishes, the project manager explained, handing Lin Chen a stack of cash from his drawer. Lin Chen felt a surge of gratitude. He understood well the significance of the bonus. Thank you, manager. You have already been very kind to me over the past month, and I truly cannot accept this bonus. Lin Chen exclaimed, returning 13 bills from the stack to the project manager. You young man, this is meant as a bonus for you. The manager insisted, unceremoniously stuffing the money back into Lin Chen's pocket. In that case, to show my gratitude for everyone's care over these days, I would like to treat everyone to dinner tonight, Lin Chen declared, finding it difficult to counter the project manager's insistence. All right, everyone is quite busy, so let us skip the dinner. Just come back to visit us when you are successful. The project manager promptly declined. Thank you. Lin Chen bowed respectfully to the manager. Oh, there is no need for thanks. It's all you deserve. If only my child were half as sensible as you, the project manager remarked, reflecting on his own child who, at a similar age, was set to enter his final year of high school but still only cared for play. There is no comparison. If I had the means, I wouldn't wish to live this way either, Lin Chen self-deprecatingly responded. You're right, as parents. Our hard work is for their enjoyment of life. The project manager agreed with a nod. If we have the means, yet still let our children suffer, what is the point? After a few more casual exchanges, Lin Chen took his leave. Upon departing the construction site, Lin Chen first visited a mobile phone market, spending 170 yuan on a basic phone, before heading to a telecom service center to obtain a phone number and activate broadband. No sooner had he exited the service center than he received a call from the broadband installer. Lin Chen marveled at the newfound efficiency of the telecom service. He relayed the installation address to the technician and returned home to await his arrival. Shortly after arriving home, the broadband installer knocked on his door. After inspecting the nearby network junction box, the technician swiftly connected a cable to Lin Chen's bedroom. In less than half an hour, the installation was complete. Once the installer departed, Lin Chen excitedly touched his newly connected computer, feeling that a new chapter in his life was about to commence. Lin Chen first ventured to the virtual library, where he discovered that his emotional value had amassed to an impressive 2.6 million points. Had the library not restricted its collection to just 3 emotions, joy, sadness, and admiration, he could have easily earned over 100 million points. He accessed the search system and meticulously entered image retrieval technology. This was a decision Lin Chen had pondered for quite some time. Given that smart devices were just beginning to emerge and he possessed no capital, it seemed unrealistic to carve out a niche in the mobile internet market. Instead, he resolved to leverage technology to secure his first funding from the major internet companies. The image retrieval technology was the culmination of his extensive contemplation. This concept was not novel. Research on it had commenced as early as the 1980s, and its development had accelerated significantly with the rise of mobile internet. For instance, in the future, users would utilize software scanning features to identify products simply by taking a picture. Additionally, employing search engines to input images for comparative data and subsequently locating similar pictures online was another application. Even facial recognition technology on smart devices would rely on such advancements. The versatility of this technology was remarkable. Lin Chen's target clients were straightforward. The leading tech giants in China, namely Baidu, of course, would be eager for such technology. Tencent was heavily investing in portal websites and search engines, making this an enticing proposition for them as well. Alibaba, too, would find this indispensable in the mobile internet era. Hence, Lin Chen had no apprehensions about the marketability of his technology. As for whom to sell it to, that would depend on who offered the most lucrative deal. However, he was prudent enough not to exchange for overly advanced technology, instead limiting it to around 2020, ensuring he would not be perceived as an alien by others. After all, single-handedly developing an advanced image engine would seem utterly far-fetched to outsiders. Having identified the technology, Lin Chen reluctantly spent 500,000 emotional points to acquire an entire suite of technologies. Yet, upon completion of the transaction, Lin Chen burst into laughter. For although the technology pertained to image engines, it encompassed various related technologies, including facial recognition, blurring techniques, and even some AI recognition capabilities. Lin Chen felt he had struck gold. He could either sell these technologies separately or utilize them for his own purposes. Exiting the virtual library, Lin Chen decided to celebrate his newfound life by indulging in a rare order of braised beef brisket over rice. The long-missed aroma of meat filled him with delight, prompting him to buy 2 large bowls of rice, leaving the owner astonished. After finishing his meal with a satisfied belch, Lin Chen exited the restaurant, content. Back home, he found no inclination for an afternoon nap. Instead, he dove straight into his computer. After all, the sooner he completed his tasks, the sooner he could relish the comforts of life. After more than a month without air conditioning, Lin Chen had grown weary of the sweltering heat. There were even nights when he struggled to sleep due to the heat, resorting to cold showers in the bathroom to find relief. Just as Lin Chen prepared to immerse himself in his work, the first obstacle emerged. Indeed, upon noticing Lin Chen online, Shen Nen promptly sent him a message. "Are you there?" Shen Nen anxiously gazed at the chat box. Since their last conversation, they had not exchanged a word. Were it not for the knowledge of Lin Chen's difficulties, Shen Nen might have thought he was intentionally avoiding her. Chapter 10. Re-encounter with Shen Nan not here. Lin Chen jested, a rare moment of humor. Shen Nan, perplexed, retorted, "If you're not here, who am I chatting with?" "Just joking. If you have something to say, go ahead." Lin Chen chuckled to himself as he recalled Shen Nan's adorably naive demeanor. However, thoughts of Shen Nan evoked a wave of nostalgia within him. In their school days, she had been the object of affection for many boys, her bright personality and alluring beauty captivating hearts, though she possessed a hint of mischief. Naturally, Lin Chen, in the throes of adolescence, was no exception. Yet, he was acutely aware of his own limitations. He understood that the only way to alter his fate was through diligent study. Thus, despite fleeting thoughts of affection, he never expressed them. He even made a conscious effort to distance himself during their conversations, recognizing that beautiful women often brought complications. It was only after moving to the bustling metropolis that he lost touch with everyone, including Shen Nan. "I'm just curious why you haven't gone to work today since I saw you online," Shen Nan replied, a mix of annoyance and amusement in her tone. "Oh, I quit my job at the construction site. I'm embarking on a great endeavor." Lin Chen continued his playful banter. "Why don't you say you're saving the world?" Shen Nan, having been fooled once, was resolute not to fall for it again. "Well, I suppose it's not entirely untrue." Lin Chen mused, stroking his chin. His skills may not save the world, but they could aid in locating missing children, and since children are the future of the nation, it could be said he was indeed on a noble mission. "Since when did you become so smooth-tongued?" Shen Nan smirked, her lips curling upward. "Believe it or not, I'm off to save the world. Let us chat another time." Lin Chen had intended to tease her about her comment on his smoothness, but considering their still nascent acquaintance, he refrained. "Okay, bye." Shen Nan watched as his profile picture faded to gray, feeling a tinge of disappointment. How could I possibly develop feelings for this thick-headed guy? Apart from being handsome, what else does he have to offer? Is being handsome really that impressive? Anyone trying to pursue me better be prepared to run at least 10 kilometers. In a fit of frustration, Shen Nan took a plush toy and began to punch it, imagining it was Lin Chen. After uninstalling QQ, Lin Chen devoted himself entirely to coding. Whether it was due to his rebirth or the vigor of youth, he discovered that his fingers had become remarkably nimble. At one point, he even fancifully considered that if he were to travel to Japan, he might surpass even Kato Takashi in fame. Thus began Lin Chen's relentless cycle of coding day and night. To expedite his progress, he invested 6,000 yuan in a new computer. With 2 computers at his disposal, he could run one while coding on the other, significantly enhancing his efficiency. This grueling routine persisted until August 20th. Had he not been so youthful, Lin Chen would have worried about burning out. Judging by his calculations, he was working at least 15 hours a day. After 20 consecutive days of overtime, he couldn't help but admire his own resilience. Upon completing his final line of code, he had no energy left to celebrate and collapsed into bed. When Lin Chen finally awoke, it was already past noon the following day. He stumbled to the bathroom and, upon seeing his reflection, dark circles under his eyes, pale complexion, and gaunt cheeks, he felt a wave of relief wash over him, grateful that he had not succumbed midway. After a quick wash, he ventured downstairs to find a restaurant, ordering 2 dishes and a generous serving of rice, devouring his meal ravenously. The scene resembled that of a famished ghost reincarnated, leaving those around him wide-eyed. After finishing, Lin Chen didn't rush back, but instead made his way to the bustling city center. In this era, brick-and-mortar stores still thrived, and the pedestrian streets were packed with people, an image that would be rare to see in 24 years. Lin Chen, how could you bear to come out? Just as Lin Chen was lost in thought, a cheerful voice greeted him. Shennan. He gazed at her stunning visage, momentarily dazed. The first person he encountered after his rebirth was her, and now, 2 months later, here they were again. What's the matter? Every time I try to talk to you, you seem lost in thought, thinking about some beauty? Shennan said, slightly displeased while holding her sunshade. Far away yet so near. Lin Chen snapped back to reality, teasing her. Shennan blushed at his words, then shyly asked, really? What did you say? Lin Chen gestured that he hadn't heard her due to the noise. It's nothing. What have you been up to lately? You look so worn out. Shennan said, concern etched on her face. In her mind, Lin Chen must have been working hard to earn money, likely taking on some arduous job. Didn't I say I was off to save the world? Lin Chen joked. If you're not going to say anything, then don't use that excuse to fool me. Shennan playfully kicked his calf. Are you trying to murder me? Lin Chen felt a stir of emotions at the soft contact. Enough of that. Let us head to the KFC up ahead. It's too hot here. Shennan seemed to sense something, and her cheeks flushed slightly. Let us go. Lin Chen nodded. Although it was late August, the heat remained oppressive. Here, hold this. Shennan said, raising the sunshade towards him. You can keep it. I don't mind the sun. Lin Chen kindly declined. You're quite delusional. I'm asking you to hold it because I'm tired. Shennan was nearly at a loss for words at Lin Chen's straightforwardness. What a bother. Lin Chen muttered as he took the umbrella. Feigning ignorance to his grumbling, Shennan moved closer to him. Shennan, where's your modesty gone? The scent of Lin Chen stirred something within her, causing her cheeks to redden again. Upon entering KFC, Lin Chen immediately felt a wave of coolness wash over him. What would you like to eat? He asked Shennan at the ordering counter. Just so you know, I'm treating. Shennan had preemptively warned him, knowing how hard Lin Chen worked for his money. Don't worry, I can certainly afford a meal at KFC. Lin Chen grandly pulled out several hundred-yuan bills from his pocket and began counting them at the counter. All right, then I'll take this opportunity to let you treat me. Shennan giggled as she watched Lin Chen mimic the character Kong Yi. Uncertain whether Shennan was trying to save him money or genuinely couldn't eat much. She only ordered a portion of fries and a cup of cola. Lin Chen, however, was unwilling to settle for so little and insisted on ordering a family bucket, which cost 68 yuan, more expensive than prices in 2024. Chapter 11. Journey to Beijing. You've wasted so much food. Shennan lamented as she gazed at the towering family bucket with concern. No worries, it's my first time treating a beauty. I must show my sincerity. Lin Chen joked. Well, that is his masculine pride speaking, she thought. With only 200 yuan left in his funds. If his image search engine didn't generate income soon, Lin Chen would have to seek work again. All right, no more of this next time. Upon hearing Lin Chen's explanation, Shennan felt joyful once more. All right, next time, I shall treat you to something even better. Lin Chen reminisced about his past life, where he had nearly grown weary of KFC. Had it not been for Shennan's suggestion, he would not have considered going at all. In his previous life in the bustling metropolis, KFC was considered a rather inexpensive option, particularly with the advent of various group buying deals, making it even cheaper than traditional Chinese fast food. Thus, KFC had been his frequent choice. Why aren't you eating? Shennan inquired, gazing at Lin Chen. You go ahead, I'll take a break. I had just eaten before meeting you. Look, my belly is still quite round. Lin Chen responded, revealing his abdomen. Rogue, Shennan exclaimed, though her eyes remained fixed on Lin Chen's abs. Hey, if you keep staring, there'll be a fee. Lin Chen teased, feeling a bit embarrassed under Shennan's gaze. Humph, as if I would look. Shun Nin turned her head away, feigning pride. The 27th is the reporting date. When do you plan to go? Shun Nin promptly changed the subject. I'm not quite sure yet. I need to visit the capital first, then Hangzhou, and finally Shanghai. If all goes well, I should arrive at Fudan University before the 27th. As he spoke, Lin Chen felt the urgency of time pressing upon him, and he was uncertain if he had enough funds for the journey. The high-speed rail network was not as developed as it would be in the future, and traveling by regular train would not suffice. He had to rely on high-speed trains, and if those were unavailable, flights were prohibitively expensive in this era. What are you going to those places for? Shinnan asked, astonished. Today is already the 21st. There are only 6 days left until reporting. Even if there are 3 days for registration, completing 4 locations in 9 days won't be easy. I'm embarking on a significant endeavor. If I succeed, I shall treat you to lavish meals every day. If not, it will be a meager existence. Lin Chen suddenly felt a twinge of doubt. His skills were advanced. Yet how could he ensure he would meet the relevant authorities? Keep at it. I believe you will succeed. Despite not knowing Lin Chen's exact plans, Shinnan offered her encouragement. Yes, Lin Chen nodded solemnly. After bidding farewell to Shun Nan in the afternoon, Lin Chen contemplated and resolutely sold the desktop computer he had assembled just a few days prior. He had spent 6,000 yuan on it, but only managed to sell it for 3,600 yuan, cursing the unscrupulous sellers under his breath. Had he not been in a hurry to sell, he would have preferred to keep it. Once the computer was sold, Lin Chen gathered his luggage and headed to Haicheng train station. His first destination was Chengdu, where the company Chengdu was currently on the rise. By the following year, its market value would peak, after which it would begin to decline. Eventually, the mention of BAT would fade, as Chengdu could not keep pace with their rapid advancements. As Haicheng was a small inland city, it lacked an airport and high-speed rail, so Lin Chen had to take a regular train. Fortunately, being a significant labor exporting city, it was conveniently located on the Jingzhou line, offering direct train tickets to Chengdu. Lin Chen purchased a sleeper ticket for the next train, departing at 9:20 p.m., with the journey expected to last around 9 hours. He found this acceptable, as he would arrive in Chengdu refreshed for the following day's schedule. Despite it being 2010, train thefts remained prevalent, so once he climbed to the upper bunk, Lin Chen clutched his laptop closely. Even though he had a USB backup in his inner pocket, losing the laptop would still cause him great distress. The night passed in silence. When the train attendant woke Lin Chen, they were nearing Chengdu railway station. After inspecting his belongings and confirming nothing was missing, he breathed a sigh of relief. After collecting his luggage, Lin Chen made a brief stop at the restroom to relieve himself and wash his face, feeling much refreshed. Soon, the train pulled into the station, and without lingering, he hurried to the underground subway station. After a bit of a hassle, Lin Chen finally took line 13 and arrived at the Zierke subway station. Upon exiting the subway station, Lin Chen walked approximately 600 meters before arriving at the headquarters of Chengdu. Checking his phone, he noted it was just past 9:30 a.m. However, upon arriving at the Chengdu headquarters, he was faced with a dilemma. At the entrance of the building, several security personnel were on duty, dressed in slightly faded casual attire. Lin Chen felt that simply walking in would not only prevent him from meeting the executives, but might also pose a challenge in getting past the security. Yet, with no other choice, he steeled himself and made his way toward the entrance. Stop. What do you want? A security guard spotted Lin Chen before he could reach the door. I have an appointment with Chairwoman Li Yanhong. I'm here for that meeting, Lin Chen boldly claimed. Is that so? What is your name? I'll check with the front desk. The guard scrutinized Lin Chen, who, based on his attire and appearance, seemed far removed from anyone connected to the chairwoman. My name is Lin Chen. You can also contact Vice President Wang Jinsong, who can confirm the development of an image retrieval technology. Lin Chen suddenly remembered that Wang Jinsong had just joined Chengdu this year as a technical expert. Connecting with him would mean half the battle was won. Please wait. The guard noted Lin Chen's lack of hesitation and responded cautiously. Front desk. Please check if Chairwoman Li Yanhong or Vice President Wang Jinsong has an appointment today for someone named Lin Chen. A moment later, a response came through the intercom. There are no appointments today for either Chairwoman Li Yanhong or Vice President Wang Jinsong. Upon hearing this, the guard's expression darkened as he turned to Lin Chen. Are you trying to joke with us? Sir, please leave. Several guards felt they had shown remarkable restraint by not taking action. Wang Jinsong, Vice President Wang. Just as Lin Chen was at a loss for what to do, he noticed Wang Jinsong arriving at the entrance of the building and called out loudly. Chapter 12. $1 billion upon hearing his name, Wang Jinsong turned to look. He saw several security guards surrounding a youthful man who was calling out to him. Who are you? Wang Jinsong stepped forward, perplexed. I am Lin Chen, but that is not important. What matters is that I have invented an image retrieval engine that can search based on image descriptions or the images themselves. Lin Chen promptly replied. Hearing this, Wang Jinsong's interest was piqued. Let him in. Hello, Mr. Wang. Once inside the lobby, Lin Chen extended his right hand toward Wang Jinsong. Hello. Wang Jinsong shook Lin Chen's hand. Let us talk over there. Wang Jinsong pointed to a lounge area in the lobby. Of course, the location is not crucial. What matters is selling this technology. Once in the lounge, Wang Jinsong asked the front desk staff to bring 2 cups of tea. Lin Chen, are you the celebrated student from a humble background that has been making waves recently? Wang Jinsong recalled Lin Chen's name, remembering a notable news event from the previous month. Yes, that is correct. Lin Chen nodded affirmatively, feeling no shame in admitting it. Truly a remarkable young man. Wang Jinsong could not help but praise. Noting that regardless of the technology, Lin Chen's courage to come alone to Chengdu's headquarters spoke volumes about his character. You flatter me. I am here to pitch a technology to you. As Lin Chen spoke, he retrieved his laptop from his backpack. Please, share the advantages of your technology. Wang Jinsong inquired with keen interest. Currently, they were also researching this technology internally, but the algorithms were still immature, leading to a plethora of incongruous results that held no practical value. Before discussing the technology, allow me to conduct a few experiments. For nothing is more illustrative than actual usage, replied Lin Chen as he powered on his device. You are absolutely correct. Wang Jinsong responded with approval. Soon, after booting his computer, Lin Chen opened a software application with a rather simplistic interface, featuring merely a single box. He inserted a previously downloaded photograph of Wang Jinsong and pressed the enter key. Instantly, a wealth of information about Wang Jinsong appeared on the screen, leaving him utterly astonished. Subsequently, Lin Chen typed, "Find me a photo of the Chengdu company ringing the bell at Nasdaq." After a brief moment of buffering, dozens of related images materialized, rendering Wang Jinsong speechless. As a technology expert, he could easily discern the immense value contained within this capability. It was evident that this technology could potentially double the market valuation of Chengdu. Follow me. Let us seek out Robin, Wang Jinsong said excitedly to Lin Chen. Of course. Lin Chen replied with a smile, knowing that as long as Chengdu was willing to offer a suitable price, he would not need to pursue other companies. Soon, Wang Jinsong led Lin Chen to a conference room. Please wait here for a moment while I report to Robin. Wang Jinsong instructed his assistant to pour Lin Chen a glass of water before departing. All right. Lin Chen nodded. Upon entering Robin's office, Wang Jinsong promptly described Lin Chen's technology. Are you certain? Robin asked incredulously. I witnessed it firsthand. Lin Chen is right next door in the conference room, Wang Jinsong assured him, thumping his chest for emphasis. Let us go see it. Robin exclaimed eagerly. Being an accomplished technician himself, he understood the significance of this technology for his company. Lin, on behalf of Chengdu, I warmly welcome you, Robin declared as he entered the conference room. Greetings, Mr. Li. Lin Chen stood up politely. Jinsong has already briefed me on your technology. Would you mind demonstrating it once more? Li Yanhong inquired eagerly. Certainly. Lin Chen readily agreed. He reopened his computer and proceeded to conduct several demonstrations, each result astonishing both observers. May I give it a try as well? Li Yanhong, concerned that Lin Chen had pre-programmed the outcomes, expressed her desire to test it herself. No problem. Lin Chen readily handed his computer to her. Li Yanhong eagerly began testing on Lin Chen's device, and even after downloading hundreds of images, she was able to accurately retrieve a specific picture. This is a remarkable technology, precisely what we require, she exclaimed excitedly to Wang Jinsong. Indeed, the technology we are developing in our lab pales in comparison to this. Wang Jinsong nodded in agreement. Since you have brought this technology to our company, you must be interested in collaboration. Could you share your thoughts? Li Yanhong asked Lin Chen after regaining her composure. If the price is right, I am inclined to sell this technology directly to you, Lin Chen stated with deliberation. How much do you wish to sell it for? Li Yanhong inquired directly. 1 billion. Lin Chen replied, suppressing his excitement as he slowly gestured a figure with his hands. No problem, we agree. Li Yanhong responded without hesitation. I meant $1 billion. Lin Chen added carefully. Have you lost your mind? While it is indeed advanced, do you comprehend what $10 billion signifies? Li Yanhong exclaimed, taken aback. Bear in mind, $1 is roughly equivalent to 6.77 yuan. $10 billion translates to approximately 67.7 billion yuan, an astronomical figure in any era. I am not insane. I possess unwavering confidence in my technology, which I believe is worth at least that amount. Lin Chen asserted earnestly. I cannot unilaterally decide on this price. We need to convene a board meeting to discuss it. If Mr. Lin doesn't mind, could we ask you to wait a few days? Li Yanhong placed Lin Chen on an equal footing at that moment. That is acceptable, but I have other engagements. I must travel to Shenzhen and Hangzhou, and I plan to return to Modu on the 27th. I hope for a prompt response from you. Lin Chen was determined not to remain overly dependent on a single opportunity. Only by comparing offers from 3 companies could he decide where to sell. Are you also promoting this technology in Shenzhen and Hangzhou? Li Yanhong quickly guessed Lin Chen's intentions. Indeed, while I eagerly anticipate collaborating with you, I personally prefer to maximize my benefits, Lin Chen replied candidly. Chapter 13. Negotiations break down. Could you stay in Kyoto for a day? We will convene a board meeting tomorrow, and I would need you to present the technology to them, Li Yanhong said earnestly. If this technology can elevate the stock price by even 10 points, the profit would surpass this amount. All right, but if I do not receive a response by tomorrow, I will definitely leave, Lin Chen nodded, acknowledging the enormity of the transaction involving $1 billion, understanding that finalizing such a deal would not be instantaneous. Very well. I will arrange for a driver to take you around Kyoto, and I will treat you to dinner this evening. Li Yanhong sighed with relief. No need. I have a classmate here whom I will visit, and I will return tomorrow morning at 9. Lin Chen declined her generous offer. After all, he was in unfamiliar territory. While they were not likely to resort to violence, the risk of someone stealing or seizing his computer was a significant concern. Although he was confident that his encryption technology was unbreakable, he believed in the wisdom of not standing beneath a precarious wall. There was no need to take unnecessary risks. In that case, Mr. Lin, could you provide us with your contact information? Li Yanhong did not press further. As long as Lin Chen remained, everything could be negotiated. Certainly. Lin Chen then wrote down his phone number on a piece of paper. After leaving the Qiandu building, Lin Chen, in an effort to evade any potential surveillance, made several complex transfers before arriving at an unfamiliar location. He then checked into a budget hotel, specifically selecting a room on the second floor near a window, prepared to escape at the first sign of danger. The following day, Lin Chen arrived punctually at the Qiandu building at 9 o'clock. But it was evident that the security personnel had been notified, as they escorted him directly to the conference room upon seeing him. Shortly after Lin Chen arrived in the conference room, Wang Jinsong entered. How did you rest last night, Lin? Wang Jinsong inquired politely. Quite well. Lin Chen responded courteously. In truth, he had hardly rested at all, for he bore the weight of technology valued at billions, something that would provoke envy in anyone who learned of it. Consequently, he had barely slept a wink throughout the night. Robin was currently presiding over a board meeting, and Lin Chen anticipated that results would soon materialize. Wang Jinsong poured Lin Chen a cup of coffee and added, "No worries, I am not in a rush." Lin Chen was somewhat surprised by their efficiency. Within an hour, he was invited into the meeting room. Upon entering, he recognized several familiar faces, though the majority were unfamiliar to him. The familiar faces were merely the result of Mr. Lin's diligent research online, conducted for the sake of selling technology. Mr. Lin, I would appreciate it if you could present the technology to our esteemed shareholders. Li Yanhong said politely after Lin Chen took his seat. Certainly, Lin Chen replied, connecting his computer to the projector and resuming his technical presentation. While I concede that Mr. Lin's technology is indeed advanced and beneficial to our engine, I must express my belief that its assistance is rather limited. Hence, I oppose it. One director exclaimed immediately after the presentation. He had never heard of a technology commanding a direct sale of $10 billion. I too oppose this. The technology is overly complicated and will only serve to complicate our engine further. Another director added. I concur, came the agreement from yet another board member. Li Yanhong, witnessing the varied reactions of the directors, felt a wave of frustration wash over her. Let us proceed to a vote. Those in favor, please raise your hands, she announced, raising her hand first. Yet, only a few followed suit. It was evident that the board meeting would not pass the proposal. I am deeply sorry, Mr. Lin, Li Yanhong said regretfully. Not to worry. I hope for future opportunities for collaboration, Lin Chen replied, his expression devoid of emotion as he prepared to leave. Wait, Mr. Lin. If your technology is priced at 1 billion RMB, we would be more than willing to purchase it. You must understand. 1 billion RMB is also a staggering sum for you. It could ensure you a prosperous life, one of the opposing directors proposed. No need. If it cannot be sold at a suitable price, I would rather destroy it. Lin Chen realized he had been played. This was merely a charade for their amusement. We are willing to add another 1 billion RMB in stocks and even offer you a position with an annual salary of 10 million. Perhaps you might reconsider. Another dissenting director suggested. Very well, I shall consider it earnestly, Lin Chen replied before storming out in indignation. The onlookers exchanged glances as they watched Lin Chen depart. Do you think he might sell this technology to our competitor, Soho? One director voiced his concern. It is unlikely anyone domestically would offer a higher price than we have. Another director asserted confidently. Let us hope, Li Yanhong mused, regretting her earlier opposition to the board's decision. She had consistently resisted the board's resolution. Yet if she had used her veto power, it would undoubtedly alienate numerous board members. Weighing the pros and cons, she ultimately acquiesced. Upon exiting the Chengdu building, Lin Chen prepared to take the subway to the airport, his next destination being Shin City. If negotiations fell through, he could easily return to Hang City, which was conveniently close to Mo City. Mr. Lin, wait a moment. Just as Lin Chen proceeded towards the subway exit, a foreigner called out to him in fluent Mandarin. Turning around, Lin Chen saw a middle-aged Caucasian man hastening towards him. Who are you? Lin Chen inquired suspiciously. I am John, a senior manager at Google, Hua Xia. Here is my business card. We are very interested in your technology. John gasped, handing Lin Chen his card. Lin Chen briefly glanced at the card, but found himself uncertain of the information's authenticity. What aspect of my technology piques your interest? Lin Chen asked. Naturally, the image engine. We consider it a remarkable technology and would be thrilled to collaborate with you, John said, gazing at Lin Chen with admiration. Recognizing that this young man had achieved what thousands of their company's engineers could not. How did you come to know about this? Lin Chen's suspicion heightened. Please do not misunderstand. Our partners at Chengdu informed us. John quickly clarified, sensing Lin Chen's wariness. What kind of collaboration do you envision? Lin Chen's tension eased, suspecting that there was indeed a mole within Chengdu. Chapter 14. Lu Xinxin, we wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Lin's valuation. Not only are we willing to pay you $1 billion, but we can also facilitate your admission to Stanford University and provide you with an American green card. Furthermore, during your studies, we can guarantee an annual living expense of $5 million, with the only condition being that you sign a 10-year employment contract with us upon graduation, with a minimum annual salary of $10 million. One could not deny that Google's offer was indeed enticing to Lin Chen. While he had little interest in the Stanford admission and green card, the thought of $1 billion and an annual salary of $10 million left him momentarily speechless. I am afraid I cannot agree at this time, Lin Chen finally replied after a period of contemplation, shaking his head with difficulty. This technology has significant applications not only in civilian sectors, but also in military domains, such as satellite reconnaissance and missile tracking technology. Even if I cannot contribute to my nation, I certainly do not wish to hinder it. Is there anything you find unsatisfactory, Mr. Lin? If so, we can negotiate further. John urged anxiously, realizing the company had instructed him to acquire this technology at any cost. He had initially thought this would be an easy task, but to his surprise, Lin Chen had declined. I am sorry, but I have other matters to attend to. Should I decide to sell, I will reach out to you, Lin Chen said, shaking John's card at him before disappearing into the crowd. I am sorry, boss, I have failed, John lamented, watching Lin Chen vanish among the throngs of people. And he picked up his phone to call George, the president of Hua Xia. Why? Why did he refuse such terms? We offered more than his original asking price. George had expected this to be a straightforward deal. There is no clear reason. I can tell he was tempted, yet he still turned us down. John shook his head in bewilderment. I understand. Please return for now. I will find someone else to contact him later, George replied with resignation. After arriving at Kyoto International Airport, Lin Chen spent nearly 1,800 yuan to purchase a ticket for a flight to Shun City's Baoan Airport, scheduled for 4 p.m. For the sake of convenience, let us assume there was a subway linking to the international airport at that time. After a flight exceeding 3 hours, Lin Chen finally arrived in Shun City. The moment he stepped off the plane, he sighed in relief. it was his first time flying, and it would be a lie to say he was not nervous. Upon exiting the airport, Lin Chen hailed a taxi straight to the headquarters of the Goose Factory in Shin City. It was not until 9:30 p.m. that Lin Chen finally settled into a budget hotel near the Goose Factory headquarters. Exhausted, he lay down on the bed, contemplating how he might approach the high-ranking executives of the Goose Factory the next day. After much deliberation, he realized he might have to resort to his old methods, camping out at their company beforehand to see if he could catch sight of a few executives. In that moment, Lin Chen wished he could slap himself. It was all his patriotic fervor's fault. Otherwise, he could have simply sold the product to Google and saved himself a great deal of trouble. Of course, just as this thought crossed his mind, he extinguished it. After all, while money is important, he could not betray his ancestors. Yet before that, there was a more pressing matter to attend to, satisfying his hunger. Since noon, Lin Chen had not eaten a single bite. Fortunately, the hotel provided instant noodles, so he boiled a kettle of water and prepared 2 servings, devouring them hungrily. After finishing his meal, Lin Chen, weary, sank into a deep slumber. That evening, Lin Chen dreamt of becoming a colossal figure in international technology, aiding his nation to vanquish the West and dominate Japan and South Korea. The people of Hua Xia ascended to unprecedented heights, and citizens worldwide took pride in being part of Hua Xia. Just as Lin Chen was immersed in this splendid reverie, an urgent need to relieve himself jolted him awake. This left him somewhat disheartened. After using the restroom, Lin Chen glanced at the time. It was only 7 in the morning. However, he found himself unable to return to sleep. So he took a hot shower and then checked out of his accommodation with his luggage in tow. Subsequently, Lin Chen purchased 4 meat buns and a cup of soy milk from a breakfast stall, savoring every bite. Around 8 o'clock, he arrived near the headquarters of the Goose Factory, prepared to await opportunities. "Oh, you are Lin Chen?" Around 8:30, a beautiful woman approached him, her eyes wide with surprise. "Yes, that would be me." "And you are?" Lin Chen replied, puzzled by the unfamiliar woman. "It's truly you. I am Lu Xinxin, an editor from the Penguin News Department." She exclaimed joyfully. "Do we know each other?" Lin Chen asked uncertainly. "I know you. You probably don't know me. Your story spread across the nation last month, and as a news editor, I certainly recognized you." Lu Xinxin had followed Lin Chen's tail and admired his actions, so she immediately recognized him upon seeing him. "Oh, hello?" Lin Chen greeted her. "By the way, aren't you in Haicheng? What brings you here?" Lu Xinxin inquired curiously. "Well, I've developed a particular imaging technology, and I wanted to discuss potential collaboration with your company. I was just pondering how to locate your executives," Lin Chen explained, a hint of concern in his voice. "You wish to collaborate with our company?" Lu Xinxin acknowledged Lin Chen's brilliance, but thought it rather far-fetched for a high school student to approach them for collaboration. "Indeed, look here. This is a business card from a senior manager at Google's Hua Xia division. He was interested in purchasing my technology, but I declined." To bolster his claim, Lin Chen produced John's business card. "Why did you not sell it?" Lu Xinxin examined the card several times, unsure of its authenticity. However, due to her respect for Lin Chen, she was already half convinced. "I believe this technology holds significant importance. Selling it to them would be tantamount to aiding the enemy. So I thought I would come to your company to see if we could establish a partnership," Lin Chen elucidated. "Wait a moment. I will contact the chief editor to see if he can reach the senior executive of the tech department," Lu Xinxin said, admiring Lin Chen. The involvement of a senior manager at Google indicated the technology's immense value. If sold to Google, it could yield a substantial profit. Little did she know that Lin Chen, an orphan, possessed such profound awareness. "I am incredibly grateful," Lin Chen exclaimed joyfully. "All right, our supervisor has agreed to introduce you to the head of the tech department. But he has one condition. You must agree to an interview with our news department." Not long after, Lu Xinxin excitedly informed Lin Chen. "That's fine. I have no objections." Lin Chen was eager for this opportunity. He never expected not only to meet the senior executives of the Goose Factory's tech department, but also to garner additional emotional value. "Wonderful, please follow me," Lu Xinxin said, beaming with enthusiasm. With her guidance, Lin Chen made his way to the Goose Factory headquarters without any hindrance. "Chief editor, I've brought him." Upon reaching the news department, Lu Xinxin knocked on the chief editor's office door excitedly. "Come in," a middle-aged man's voice called from within. Lu Xinxin opened the door to the office. "Hello, Lin Chen. I am Li Tao, the chief editor of the social news section at the Goose Factory," Li Tao stated, shaking Lin Chen's hand. "Hello," Lin Chen replied politely. "Please, have a seat." Xin, could you fetch us 2 cups of water? Li Tao gestured for Lin Chen to sit, then instructed Lu Xin. Thank you. They both replied in unison. I truly admire your story, Lin Chen. We even dispatched reporters to interview you, but we could never locate you. Li Tao remarked with a sense of admiration once Lin Chen was seated. There's nothing to publicize. Many others in the country are in far worse situations than mine. They deserve our society's support more. Lin Chen modestly waved his hand. No, your story is different. You serve as a beacon for impoverished students everywhere. Achieving admission to Fudan University under such challenging circumstances is an extraordinary feat, Li Tao asserted with sincerity. You flatter me. Lin Chen was taken aback by the high praise Li Tao bestowed upon him. Regarding your situation, Lu Xin has informed me, and based on my trust in your character, I have decided to introduce you to a vice president of our technology department. Ultimately, how things unfold will depend on you. Li Tao was unsure why he was placing such faith in Lin Chen's claims about the technology. However, considering that the vice president was a friend, even if the claims were unfounded, the worst that could happen would be treating him to a meal. If it turned out to be genuine, it would be a great achievement for the group. Thank you, Chief Editor Li. Lin Chen exclaimed, filled with excitement. Please hold on a moment. I will call over there to see if he is available. Li Tao indicated for Lin Chen to wait and stepped out to call the vice president of the technology department. He happens to be free. I'll have Lu Xin take you over. His last name is Zhang, so just refer to him as Director Zhang. Shortly thereafter, Li Tao returned to the office and informed Lin Chen. I am immensely grateful. Lin Chen rose, expressing his appreciation. No need for thanks. I am doing this for the group, and do not forget the condition you agreed to. Li Tao waved his hand, reminding him. Rest assured, as soon as I conclude my discussions, I will come find you. Lin Chen promptly assured him. Then you should hurry. He is waiting for you. Li Tao gestured for Lin Chen to proceed. All right. Lin Chen nodded and followed Lu Xin, who had been waiting at the door, to the technology department. Lin Chen, a warm welcome to you. I am Zhang Zhibua, the vice president of the technology department. To Lin Chen's surprise, upon arriving at the tech department, the vice president was already waiting at the stairwell. After Li Tao called him, he immediately reached out to his contacts at Chengdu and Google. Although the details were somewhat vague, it indicated that Lin Chen possessed a technology of substantial value. To demonstrate his seriousness, he had been waiting at the elevator. I am. You must be Director Zhang of the technology department, correct? Greetings. Lin Chen reciprocated warmly, shaking Zhang Zibua's hand. Indeed. Come, let us discuss this in my office. Zhang Zibua replied, leading Lin Chen to his office. Once inside, Zhang Zibua inquired directly, we are both in the technology field, so I will be frank. You mentioned having a technology you wish to sell to us. Could you demonstrate it for me? Of course. Lin Chen responded, retrieving his laptop from his backpack. I have developed an engine based on text and images, which possesses the following features. As he spoke, Lin Chen showcased his work on the computer. Did you create this yourself? Zhang Zibua was taken aback by Lin Chen's presentation. Indeed. Lin Chen nodded in silence. I am in awe of you. Zhang Zibua exclaimed, visibly moved. To accomplish such a remarkable feat of technology independently is no longer merely a sign of genius. It borders on the extraordinary. You are too kind. Lin Chen did not expect such a playful side from Zhang Zibua. Do not address me as Director Zhang. If you don't mind, call me Brother Zhang. In terms of technology, I would be honored to be your disciple. Zhang Zibua stated earnestly. Brother Zhang, please don't place such heavy labels on me. Lin Chen promptly changed his form of address. To be honest, if you were to establish your own company with this technology, it could easily become a firm valued at tens of billions of dollars in the future. Zhang Zibua kindly reminded him. I lack both funds and connections. The product might not even hit the market before I find myself in dire straits. Lin Chen replied with a wry smile. He had indeed contemplated this matter before. But with only a few thousand yuan to his name, he feared bankruptcy could come before the product's launch. If he sought funding for this technology, he surely wouldn't secure a favorable valuation in the angel round and would likely have to relinquish a significant portion of his equity. After all, investment firms are not charitable organizations. They are voracious capitalists who could leave him in debt to them if his venture were to fail. Such cases are not uncommon. Therefore, to be prudent, Lin Chen decided to sell it. Once he secured his initial capital, armed with the vast knowledge in his mind, he could swiftly establish a commercial empire. All right, wait a moment. Our chairman is in a meeting. Once he concludes, I will take you to see him. Zhang Zibua nodded in agreement. Acknowledging the current market conditions, having a great product alone does not guarantee success. No rush. I'm not in a hurry, Lin Chen consented. As noon approached, Lin Chen, guided by Zhang Zhibua, encountered a legendary figure, Brother Ma. Brother Ma appeared just as he did in the online rumors. Although he exuded an air of refinement, his every gesture radiated authority. Hello, Mr. Ma. Lin Chen greeted respectfully. Hello, Lin. I've heard of your accomplishments. I must say, I greatly admire you, Brother Ma remarked. Placing a hand on Lin Chen's shoulder with genuine respect, Lin Chen shook his head with a bitter smile, surprised at his newfound fame. Chapter 16. Closing the deal. Zhibua just briefed me on your technology, and I have great faith in his judgment. But what makes you believe it is worth 1 billion? That amount could acquire a large enterprise. Brother Ma inquired, intrigued. Simply because Google is willing to invest 1 billion to acquire my technology. Lin Chen replied confidently. Do you have any evidence? Brother Ma's demeanor shifted to seriousness, realizing the gravity of the claim. Of course. Lin Chen promptly retrieved his phone and played a recording. After listening, Brother Ma's eyes widened. The offer from Google was indeed exceptionally generous, and they hinted that the price could be negotiable. Could you demonstrate your technology once more? Brother Ma requested cautiously. Certainly. Lin Chen proceeded to showcase his innovation. Logically, the ideal buyer for this technology should be Qihoo Company. Why didn't you approach them? Brother Ma asked after observing the demonstration, pausing thoughtfully before continuing. I did, but their offer was unsatisfactory, so negotiations fell through, Lin Chen responded with a sigh. Then why not sell directly to Google? Brother Ma queried, puzzled. The technology contains many applications in military use. As much as I appreciate wealth, I cannot sell it to them, Lin Chen stated firmly. I didn't realize you were such a patriot, Brother Ma teased, finding it difficult to comprehend Lin Chen's stance. As a capitalist typically sells to the highest bidder, Lin Chen smiled and refrained from further comment. Do you know how much revenue we generated last year? Brother Ma suddenly asked Lin Chen. Without waiting for a response, he continued. Last year, our group had a revenue of 12.44 billion yuan with a net profit of 5.15 billion yuan. The price you are asking is significantly higher than our entire annual profit. Do you believe this technology holds the same value as the combined efforts of our tens of thousands of employees? After a moment of silence, Lin Chen replied. If the value of technology were measured by the number of people, I believe our GDP would be the highest in the world. In today's society, a single innovation can forge a great company rather than the number of people involved. My bottom line is 1 billion. If Mr. Ma finds that unacceptable, then I believe our conversation should conclude here. With that, Lin Chen began to pack his laptop, ready to depart. There's no reason an international company would see value that you do not. It's merely an attempt to drive the price down. If necessary, I'll secure a loan using this technology to pursue my venture myself. We will acquire this technology. 1 billion in cash is indeed a bit steep for us. How about this? We offer you 500 million in cash and 500 million in company stock. Just as Lin Chen felt disheartened, Brother Ma suddenly made a decisive proposal. I agree. Lin Chen immediately responded. Given that the economic crisis had just passed and the stock market was still in a slump, the stock price of Penguin Group was around 27 Hong Kong dollars, a stark contrast to its peak of 749 Hong Kong dollars. 5 in 2021, representing a staggering increase of 27 times. Not to mention, they had undergone a stock split in 2014, converting one share into 5, effectively multiplying the stock price by 5 again. This equated to an overall increase of 138 times. In essence, at the peak of Penguin's stock, the 500 million in stock would be valued at 69 billion. What could be a more advantageous deal than this? Excellent. However, we need some time as 500 million constitutes about 8 of our Group S shares, necessitating a shareholders meeting to dilute the stock according to ownership ratios. Brother Ma explained, adding, but rest assured, once we sign the contract, the 500 million will be transferred to your account immediately. Lin Chen nodded, indicating his agreement. With both parties reaching a cooperative understanding, Lin Chen felt an immense sense of relief. This deal was certainly not a loss. The 500 million in cash provided ample funds for his entrepreneurial endeavors, while the 500 million in Penguin stock would serve as a safeguard for the future. Even if his entrepreneurial venture faltered, those shares would ensure his status as a notable wealthy individual. On August 26th, Penguin Group released a shocking announcement that captivated public attention. The announcement stated, Our group has successfully acquired a revolutionary advanced technology from Mr. Lin Chen. The total transaction price amounts to 1 billion, which includes 500 million in cash and 500 million in company stock. The integration of this technology will enhance our group's development strategy and further strengthen our core competitiveness. We also welcome Mr. Lin Chen as our group's new director. At the conclusion of the announcement, Lin Chen's personal information was disclosed. As a publicly traded company, Penguin Group was required to maintain transparency regarding its major shareholders. Lin Chen's appointment as a director was strongly advocated by Brother Ma, as Lin Chen's stake made him the third largest shareholder, granting him significant influence in the shareholders' meeting. Brother Ma hoped Lin Chen would align with him in future board discussions. After contemplating, Lin Chen concluded that this arrangement posed no disadvantage to him and readily agreed. Upon discovering Lin Chen's personal information, the public was taken aback. Who exactly is Lin Chen? Wasn't he just an orphan? How did he suddenly become a director of Penguin Group? One incredulous netizen remarked, in true dramatic fashion. Perhaps after his achievements were revealed, his wealthy parents sought him out, and this 1 billion is merely a generous gift. Another user speculated. Beyond that, they could hardly fathom how Lin Chen managed such a remarkable turnaround. As for the so-called technology, it is amusing to consider. What kind of technology could possibly be worth $1 billion? Brother, I am your long-lost sibling. Some netizens were envious to the point of reddening their eyes. Lin Chen perfectly epitomized the adage, you may disregard me today, but tomorrow I shall be beyond your reach. Many viewers found the situation quite surreal. Just last month, everyone was donating money and goods to him, and now he has become a billionaire. It is hard to believe that there is no insider trading involved. Some netizens resolutely rejected the notion that the facts were as announced. Chapter 17. The interview with Penguin News. The public's distrust was directly reflected in the stock price of Penguin Group. Shortly after the announcement was made, the stock plummeted by 7%. This was due to the widespread belief that the acquisition either involved illicit benefit transfers or that the heirs were eyeing Penguin Group, intending to make a move. Amidst the speculations, Penguin News pinned a headline. At 7:30 p.m. tonight, let us uncover the secrets behind Lin Chen. This interview was intended not only to honor Lin Chen's promise to Li Tao, but also to alleviate the public's concerns. The interview would be broadcast live, with both Lin Chen and the esteemed Xiaomi present. Goodness, in the blink of an eye, you have become a distinguished director of our group, exclaimed Lu Xinxin, unable to conceal her astonishment. Ah, merely a coincidence. I only wish to sell my creation, Lin Chen replied innocently. This turn of events had completely taken him by surprise. Does this mean I should bow and greet you from now on? Lu Xinxin attempted to lighten the atmosphere. Well, if you don't mind, I have no objections. Lin Chen replied, feigning seriousness. Oh please, your success is partly due to my recommendation. You owe me a grand feast. Lu Xinxin sighed with relief, glad that Lin Chen remained humble despite his newfound status. Absolutely. After the interview, I shall treat you to a late-night snack. Lin Chen readily agreed, acknowledging that without Lu Xinxin's assistance, he would have struggled to connect with the higher-ups at Penguin. A promise is a promise. It's difficult to renege. The two exchanged a knowing high-five. Hello, dear audience. Welcome to our live broadcast. Today, we are honored to have our group's chairman, Xiaomi, and the most inspirational student from humble beginnings, Lin Chen, as our guests. Lu Xinxin addressed the camera. Hello, everyone. Lin Chen and Xiaomi greeted the audience. Lin, many are curious about your story. Could you share it briefly? Lu Xinxin inquired, microphone in hand. Honestly, there is no need for excessive interpretation of my journey. My life was quite simple. Before high school, I lived in an orphanage. Once I entered high school, I moved out, balancing my studies with work. And as you can see, I am now on the verge of becoming a freshman at Fudan University, Lin Chen summarized succinctly. Could you tell us why you moved out of the orphanage? Lu Xinxin asked, intrigued. It's quite simple. Before high school, as an orphan, I faced a lot of bullying. I wanted to escape that identity, which prompted my decision to leave the orphanage, Lin Chen replied, his voice tinged with emotion. Only those who have experienced school bullying can truly understand the helplessness he felt at that time. I apologize for bringing up such a painful subject, Lu Xinxin said, her eyes glistening. Though Lin Chen spoke lightly, the hardships he endured were palpable. It's all right. I have come through the worst, Lin Chen said with a smile, regaining his composure. I imagine juggling work and study during high school must have been arduous. Did you ever consider giving up? Lu Xinxin continued to probe. Of course, There were times it was incredibly tough. I often worked until nearly 11 at night, returning home to cook and study, going to bed around 1 in the morning. I would wake up around 6, sometimes dreaming of dropping out. But what else could I do at that age? For me, the only way to avoid a more difficult future was to study hard. Education was my only path to change my fate. Lin Chen declared with unwavering resolve. Well said. Knowledge transforms destiny, and you are a living testament to that. Xiaomi applauded. Just sheer luck. Lin Chen quickly waved his hand, asserting that without the virtual library, he would likely still be laboring on a construction site to pay for his tuition. However, the future will undoubtedly be much brighter than my previous life. Given your struggles, why did you refuse to accept donations from others? I understand that in July, you donated the entire sum of 226,000 yuan you received to the orphanage, along with all the items given to you. Lu Xinxin asked, perplexed. It's quite simple. I am already 18, and I am fully capable. How could I comfortably accept donations? Moreover, there are many siblings in the orphanage who are physically disadvantaged and need assistance far more than I do. However, I did keep this laptop, which was donated to me. Lin Chen pointed to the laptop beside him. Is the engine you sold to our group developed using this laptop? Xiaomi couldn't help but ask. Immediately regretting his question, he realized that the laptop had been donated just last month, and it was implausible for someone to develop such an advanced engine in only 2 months. Actually, I began working on the engine in my second year of high school. I was just very busy, so progress was slow, and I only completed it this month, Lin Chen replied, half-truthfully. So, during your absence, you were diligently perfecting your craft? Lu Xinxin inquired. Yes, after graduating high school, I had completed 60 of the code, so I didn't work in August and focused entirely on developing the engine. Lin Chen answered vaguely. Impressive, Xiaomi remarked, clearly impressed. Only someone with technical expertise could grasp the significance of this engine, which had been in development since Lin Chen's high school days. Is it true that you sold this engine to our group for $1 billion? Lu Xinxin asked, addressing a question on the minds of many viewers. Yes, prior to this, I had approached Chengdu, who initially offered $2 billion. Later, a senior manager from Google contacted me, offering $1 billion for the purchase, along with a green card and admission to prestigious universities, Lin Chen revealed, adding that this was a point Xiaomi wanted to emphasize. To clarify that the technology was not solely coveted by their firm and that there was no insider trading involved. As soon as this statement was made, those who had believed there was foul play began to waver in their convictions. Chapter 18. The second interview with Penguin News. Can you demonstrate this engine for us? Lu Xinxin continued to play her role. Certainly, Lin Chen replied as he proceeded to showcase the engine through the live broadcast. Upon witnessing this, the audience's doubts were thoroughly dispelled. Even those unfamiliar with technology could discern its remarkable prowess. $1 billion. Worth every penny. Lin Chen's gaze transformed upon encountering the situation. Goodness. Not only are you the most inspirational student from a humble background, but you have also shattered the world record for becoming a billionaire. Numerous female viewers watching the live stream were practically starstruck by Lin Chen. This is no ordinary scholar. He is undeniably a diamond bachelor. Moreover, he is not only wealthy, but also remarkably handsome. Even a free meal from him would be worth it, echoed the sentiments of many women in that moment. Do you believe your success can be replicated? Lu Xinxin continued her inquiry after Lin Chen's demonstration. Well, I believe that everyone's experiences and circumstances differ, as do their personalities and environments. Therefore, I think no one can truly replicate another person. Lin Chen rubbed his nose, surprised that Lu Xinxin would pose such a question reminiscent of the teachings of future success gurus. Do you have any words for the audience watching from their computers? Lu Xinxin seemed to revel in her role as the interviewer. Regardless of the environment you find yourself in, one must strive to learn. While it may not immediately change your living conditions, when the accumulation of effort leads to a transformation, your hard work will ultimately yield rewards. Lin Chen, feeling somewhat resigned, offered the audience a hearty dose of motivational wisdom. I shall raise my cup to this bowl of inspiration, commented a netizen in the chat. We have no grievances. Why would you harm me so? Another user humorously remarked. To be fair, Lin Chen's words hold merit. After all, he is a living testament. Some had already begun to idolize him. You have achieved financial freedom. What are your plans for the future? Will you continue your studies? Lu Xinxin asked curiously. Of course. I will pursue my education. Learning is a lifelong journey. As for my plans, I believe I will continue to start new ventures. It seems I might be reliving my high school days. Am I destined to a life of toil? Lin Chen seemed to stumble upon a revelation. Am I doomed to a life of labor? Haha, Lin Chen, you are quite the humorist. Lu Xinxin couldn't help but laugh at his self-deprecating humor. Could you share your next entrepreneurial direction? Xiaomi asked with curiosity. Xiaomi held a favorable view of Lin Chen, recognizing not only his resilience, but also his technical acumen and insight. He was more than willing to invest if the opportunity arose. It should involve the physical industry. As well as angel investing, Lin Chen honestly replied. Why not develop in the familiar realm of the internet? Xiaomi inquired. Given Lin Chen's technical prowess, that would surely yield success in the digital arena. With so many industry giants present, I feel my involvement would not significantly alter the outcome. Perhaps I could delve into communication software? Lin Chen jested. Certainly, we would welcome that. Xiaomi responded with a smile, fully aware that Lin Chen was joking. What do you believe will be the next big trend? Xiaomi pondered before asking. Mobile internet. The excitement surrounding the launch of the iPhone 4 in June is evident to all. I believe that in the future, smartphones will function as our primary tools for work. And due to their portability, they will become our most essential instruments of productivity. Lin Chen asserted with conviction. Xiaomi regarded Lin Chen with newfound respect, surprised by his keen insight. Although there was considerable debate within the company regarding how to engage with the mobile internet, they could not deny its potential. Do you have specific projects in mind? Xiaomi could not help but continue his questioning. The food delivery industry, currently, in the city of Mo. There exists a company called Did You Eat, founded by university students, and I believe they will thrive in the era of mobile internet, Lin Chen boasted. At present, smartphones are still in their infancy, and many projects may not be taken seriously. Even when believed, the uncertainty of survival in this era looms large. Thus, it would be wiser to boast about an existing, promising company. Food delivery? Xiaomi queried in confusion. Life's pace is accelerating, and many individuals hardly have time to cook. Just as many businesses have established group chats to connect customers, we could create a unified delivery platform in the mobile internet era, inviting numerous manufacturers to join. This way, customers could place orders directly through mobile applications, with a centralized delivery system. Lin Chen succinctly described. Xiaomi nodded, albeit skeptically. If the platform handles delivery, how many personnel would be required? Can a food delivery service sustain a company with thousands of employees? As the clock neared 10, the live-streamed interview officially concluded. True to his word, Lin Chen invited Lu Xinxin for a late-night meal and extended the invitation to Xiaomi, who politely declined but left with a flirtatious smile. Here, you are familiar with the area. What would you like to eat? My treat. Lin Chen proclaimed grandly after Xiaomi departed. Haha, your demeanor now resembles that of a newly rich person. Lu Xinxin laughed at Lin Chen's ostentatious display. Am I not a newly rich person? Lin Chen replied without a hint of embarrassment. All right, I shall indulge in your generosity. Lu Xinxin declared without reservation. Absolutely, you decide. Tonight, everything is on me. Lin Chen proclaimed, feeling buoyed by his financial success, despite the looming 20 income tax he would owe in the future. Let's opt for Hunan cuisine, Lu Xinxin suggested. Are you sure you can handle Hunan cuisine at this hour? Lin Chen asked in disbelief. I am a native of Xingqing, Lu Xinxin proudly declared, patting her chest. In the warm summer, she wore a shoulder-revealing dress. As she patted herself, her ample bosom trembled enticingly, causing Lin Chen to momentarily lose his composure. Little lecher, Lu Xinxin muttered under her breath, her cheeks flushing, yet she stood proudly. Lin Chen quickly pinched his thigh to regain his composure. He risked embarrassing himself if he continued to gaze. I'm fine with anything. You lead the way, Lin Chen said, suppressing his discomfort. Chapter 19. Continuation of Lu Xinxin. Lu Xinxin took Lin Chen to a uniquely decorated Hunan restaurant, nearly devoid of patrons at that hour, allowing the two of them to occupy a booth without feeling crowded. Is this all you're ordering? I told you not to hold back, Lin Chen remarked, puzzled as he watched Lu Xinxin order only 4 dishes and a soup. While I might indulge you, we shouldn't waste food. Given the time, it would be remarkable if we can finish this much. Lu Xinxin explained. Who do you look down upon? Lin Chen retorted, promptly ordering 4 more hearty dishes along with a large serving of rice. Even with money, you shouldn't overdo it. How can we finish all of this? Lu Xinxin stated incredulously as she watched Lin Chen pile on more dishes. I want to show you what a big eater looks like, Lin Chen boasted, patting his stomach with pride. All right, let us agree on this. If you don't finish, you're not allowed to leave. Lu Xinxin eyed Lin Chen skeptically. Why are you staring at me? Lu Xinxin noticed Lin Chen's unwavering gaze and awkwardly touched her face. Nothing. I just noticed you're quite young. Yet you're even more verbose than my orphanage director. Lin Chen teased. Shut up. I'm merely trying to help you save money. If you can't appreciate it, then forget it. Lu Xinxin rolled her eyes at Lin Chen. As they spoke, the server began bringing their ordered dishes one by one. Without hesitation, Lin Chen grabbed a small bowl and asked Lu Xinxin, would you like some rice? Forget it. I'm on a diet. I've gained weight these past few days. Lu Xinxin declined. How tall are you? Lin Chen suddenly inquired. 168 centimeters. What's that about? Lu Xinxin lied, claiming her height was actually only 166. There's a saying you might have heard. A good woman is either flat-chested or short. Since you are not short, that must mean you are flat-chested. Lin Chen cast a glance at Lu Xinxin's chest and teased her deliberately. Who's flat-chested? I'm a 34D, okay. Lu Xinxin immediately took offense and proudly puffed out her chest. Upon seeing this, Lin Chen's eyes widened in surprise. Little lecher, I didn't realize that despite your youth, your thoughts are rather impure. Lu Xinxin crossed her arms over her chest, responding with mock annoyance. Haha, I was merely verifying if you were a scammer. Lin Chen replied with a hint of implication. What scam? Lu Xinxin asked, perplexed, wondering how this connected to fraud. It's nothing, let us eat, Lin Chen said, not elaborating, as he dug into his rice. Ever since he received that sum from the Penguin Company, he had become much more cheerful, even a bit carefree. Lu Xinxin eyed Lin Chen suspiciously, feeling something was off about his words. How long has it been since you last ate? Lu Xinxin stared in astonishment as Lin Chen devoured the dishes on the table and a large portion of rice in no time. I'm still young, growing. So of course, I need to eat more. Lin Chen explained, a bit sheepishly. He had indeed noticed that he had been eating quite a lot these past 2 months. Initially, while working at the construction site, he thought it was due to the physical labor, and later in August, while programming at home, he assumed it was because of the mental exertion. But now, even after some time, his appetite hadn't decreased, leaving Lin Chen puzzled. Could it be that he was genuinely still growing? Lu Xinxin looked at Lin Chen speechlessly, saying, even in high heels, I still have to look up at you. And you dare say you're still young. It's getting late. Let us go? Lin Chen wiped his mouth with a napkin and noticed it was already 11:30. So he suggested, all right, let us go? Lu Xinxin nodded in agreement. Where do you live? After settling the bill and stepping out of the restaurant, Lin Chen asked Lu Xinxin. In Green City Garden, it's about 2 kilometers away. Lu Xinxin pointed ahead. All right, I'll walk you back, Lin Chen said, and prepared to hail a taxi. Let us walk. We just ate, so it's good to digest, Lu Xinxin proposed. Sure, Lin Chen nodded. Even if they strolled, 2 kilometers would only take half an hour. How long have you been in this city? Lin Chen asked curiously along the way. 5 years. I went to university here and was recruited by the Penguin Group after graduation. Lu Xinxin replied. So you've only just graduated a year ago? Lin Chen continued to inquire. Yes, what did you expect? Lu Xinxin shot Lin Chen a playful glare. You don't look it. I thought you were at least 27 or 28. Lin Chen remarked cheekily. Oh please, I'm still a little fairy. Lu Xinxin playfully hit Lin Chen on the arm. Hearing this, Lin Chen couldn't help but smirk. In a few years, that little fairy would become a creature feared by many. Do you live alone here? Lin Chen changed the subject. Not really. I share a 3-bedroom apartment with 2 college roommates. Lu Xinxin responded. If it weren't for my roommates, I would have gone back to Star City long ago. Don't you live with your boyfriend? Lin Chen asked curiously. I've been single for 23 years. Where would I find a boyfriend? Lu Xinxin replied with annoyance. No way. With your beauty, no one pursued you in school? You must have had admirers. Lu Xinxin said with a hint of insecurity. Must have. Lin Chen replied, a bit speechless. Oh come on, is it embarrassing not to date? Lu Xinxin's face flushed. It's fine, I was just curious. Lin Chen awkwardly rubbed his nose, chuckling nervously. By the way, when do you plan to leave? Lu Xinxin couldn't help but ask. Tomorrow, I have to report at Fudan University. I've finished everything here, so I'll head back to campus. Lin Chen answered without hesitation. That's fast. Lu Xinxin suddenly remembered Lin Chen was still a university student. I've heard university life is great. I wonder if that's true. Lin Chen said with longing. Of course. You can attend classes if you wish or skip them if you don't. No one monitors you, as long as you don't get caught during roll call and pass your exams. Lu Xinxin earnestly explained, not grasping Lin Chen's underlying meaning. Indeed. Lin Chen replied nonchalantly, thinking to himself, I already know that, I just want to know what university life is like. Here we are. This is my apartment complex. Building 16, 22nd floor. After a while, they reached the entrance of the complex, and Lu Xinxin said, "All right, you go on up. I'll head back to the hotel." Lin Chen surveyed the entrance before speaking. "Do you want to come up for a cup of tea?" Lu Xinxin suddenly blushed, looking down and asking softly. "Don't say that. I am indeed a bit thirsty," Lin Chen replied, suppressing a laugh and trying to sound serious. Chapter 20. Success. It was unclear what was on her mind, but Lu Xinxin kept her head down throughout the walk. Even when Lin Chen spoke to her, her responses were barely audible. After a struggle, they finally arrived at the door of Lu Xinxin's rented room. Fumbling, Lu Xinxin took a few attempts to insert the key into the lock. "Come in. The room is a bit messy, so please don't mind it." Lu Xinxin invited Lin Chen inside. "It's fine. It's already quite tidy, much better than my room," Lin Chen sincerely complimented. He wasn't exaggerating. Though the living room was small, it was warmly decorated, with 2 pots of lucky bamboo on the coffee table, adding a touch of vitality to the room. "Where are your roommates?" Lin Chen inquired after surveying the space. "One is on a business trip, and the other should be asleep by now," Lu Xinxin said, noticing through the crack of the door that her other roommate's light was still off. "Would you like Coke or juice?" Lu Xinxin opened the refrigerator and asked Lin Chen, looking at the drinks inside. "Either is fine. If you have mineral water, that would be even better," Lin Chen replied. "We're out of mineral water. I'll get you some boiled water instead." Lu Xinxin closed the fridge and walked toward the kitchen. In a short while, she returned with a cup of water and handed it to Lin Chen. Lin Chen focused intently on the hand that was offering him the cup, mentally repeating, according to the script, this cup of water should end up spilled on him. However, Lin Chen was destined for disappointment as he heard Lu Xinxin say, "Why are you in a daze? Here's your water." "Oh, thank you." Lin Chen accepted the cup, feeling a sense of loss. "Is it not to your taste? Or should I get you a drink?" Lu Xinxin asked, puzzled by Lin Chen's strange expression. "It's fine. It's quite good." Lin Chen snapped back to reality, quickly taking a sip and silently scolding himself for being foolish. "Will you be coming back here again?" Lu Xinxin asked, a hint of expectation in her voice. "I should. After all, I'm a director of the group, and I have to attend the board meetings each year." Lin Chen thought for a moment before replying. "Oh," Lu Xinxin responded, somewhat disappointed. "What's the matter? Do you miss me?" Lin Chen joked. "Oh please, who would like a little lecture like you? So full of yourself," Lu Xinxin retorted, her expression slightly awkward. "Well, it seems I was being presumptuous. I thought if someone here missed me, I could come back often." Lin Chen feigned regret. "Dream on," Lu Xinxin said with annoyance. "Indeed. As an orphan, I find little affection in this city. Perhaps it is better not to dwell here." In this moment, Lin Chen embodied the essence of a seasoned actor. "Who proclaimed such a thing? In the future, I shall host you," Lu Xinxin gently remarked, observing the sorrow etched on Lin Chen's face. "Never mind, do not force it. A reluctant fruit is never sweet. I shall take my leave," Lin Chen declared, rising to depart. "Ah, forgive me. What I meant was that I will miss you." Lu Xinxin hastily grasped Lin Chen's garment, speaking with trepidation. "Is that truly what you said?" Lin Chen feigned astonishment. "Indeed," Lu Xinxin replied, her cheeks aflame under Lin Chen's ardent gaze. Suddenly, Lin Chen wrapped his arms around Lu Xinxin, tilting her head gently upward before kissing her deeply. Lu Xinxin's body stiffened, then melted into Lin Chen's embrace. "I could hardly breathe." After a prolonged moment, Lu Xinxin gasped for air. "To call you a little lecher is indeed an understatement," she said, her face flushed with embarrassment. "Do not." Lu Xinxin felt Lin Chen's advances once more and quickly intervened, her heart racing. "You scoundrel, I shall bite you." Unable to contain herself at Lin Chen's teasing, she sank her teeth into his arm. "Goodness, are you attempting to murder your husband?" Lin Chen exclaimed, smacking her lightly in jest. "How many women have you been with prior to me?" Lu Xinxin questioned, her suspicion growing as she noted Lin Chen's familiarity. "I swear, you are the only one in my life thus far. If I lie, may I be struck by heavenly thunder," Lin Chen asserted with conviction. "Then why are you so adept?" Lu Xinxin inquired, sensing his sincerity yet puzzled. "One might say it is a natural talent," Lin Chen replied with pride. "You must have been a little lecher in your past life," Lu Xinxin surmised, hitting upon the truth. Lin Chen chuckled awkwardly, concealing his embarrassment. Chapter 21. Are you truly departing tomorrow? Lu Xinxin nestled deeper into Lin Chen's embrace, reluctant to let go. "Do you wish for me to leave or to stay?" Lin Chen teased, stroking her back. "Leave if you must. Lu Xinxin replied, feigning indifference. Well, since you are so reluctant, I shall remain tomorrow, Lin Chen said, playfully pinching her cheek. Nonsense. No one is begging you to stay, Lu Xinxin retorted, unwilling to admit her feelings. By the way, if you do not leave, what of your registration tomorrow? She asked, concern creeping into her voice. It is of no consequence. We have 3 days for registration, and I shall return on the final day, Lin Chen explained. Wonderful, Lu Xinxin exclaimed, unable to resist planting a kiss on him. Oh no, we shall be late. The following morning, Lu Xinxin, bleary-eyed, glanced at her phone and jolted awake. You can sleep a little longer, take a couple of days off. Surely, you would not work while I am here, Lin Chen suggested, wrapping his arms around her from behind. Very well, Lu Xinxin consented, promptly dialing her editor, only to hang up amidst her editor's teasing laughter. Do not fool around, she exclaimed, feeling Lin Chen's mischievous hands. You lie down, I shall prepare some breakfast. After a tender moment, Lu Xinxin proposed. Forget it, let us eat out. Afterward, we can stroll and watch a movie, Lin Chen suggested. Excellent. Lu Xinxin beamed in agreement. Ah, Lulu, why are you not at work today? Upon entering the living room, Lu Xinxin was taken aback to see a figure on the sofa. How exasperating. After finally getting a day off, I planned to sleep in, but you two kept me up all night. Zhang Lulu yawned, looking utterly fatigued. Lu Xinxin's face flushed with embarrassment at the realization. Lin Chen also felt the heat of embarrassment, having not anticipated being overheard throughout the night. Greetings, I am Lin Chen, Xinxin's boyfriend. He introduced himself with a boldness he did not quite feel. Zhang Lulu, she replied curtly. We are heading out for breakfast. Would you care to join us? Lu Xinxin inquired. Sure, give me a moment to freshen up, Zhang Lulu replied without hesitation. Lin Chen, do sit for a moment. I shall wash up as well, Lu Xinxin instructed as she followed Zhang Lulu into the restroom. How long have you two known each other? Zhang Lulu inquired quietly, seizing Lu Xinxin's arm. Lu Xinxin, feeling bashful, held up 4 fingers. For months? Zhang Lulu exclaimed, astonished. Your secrecy has been commendable, keeping this from us for so long. It has only been 4 days. Lu Xinxin corrected, counting on her fingers. 4 days? You surrendered yourself in such a short time? Zhang Lulu gasped in disbelief. Yes, Lu Xinxin admitted, her face tinged with crimson. Aye. Zhang Lulu stammered, momentarily at a loss for words. What does he do? She finally asked after a brief pause. He is a student, about to enter his freshman year, Lu Xinxin replied, feeling even more shy. Ah, Lu Xinxin, I see you have a preference. No wonder you remained indifferent to the many suitors during college. You favor younger men, Zhang Lulu remarked, as if seeing Lu Xinxin in a new light. All right. Once we have some leisure time, I shall explain everything. Hurry and freshen up, or Lin Chen will grow impatient, Lu Xinxin urged, giving Zhang Lulu a gentle nudge. It seems that once one finds a partner, they forget their friends, Zhang Lulu lamented. To Lin Chen's surprise, both women emerged from the restroom fully dressed in less than half an hour. Did I not hear that women require ample time for makeup? Upon reaching the community gate, Lin Chen held an umbrella for Lu Xinxin and inquired, what do you typically have for breakfast? Quite simple, rice rolls, steamed buns, various kanjis, and sticky rice chicken, Lu Xinxin replied, linking her arm with his. The Zhangji rice roll shop is our usual breakfast spot, she added, pointing to a nearby eatery. Very well. Then let us dine there, Lin Chen said, feeling his hunger mounting. What will you have? Upon entering the Zhangji rice roll shop, Lu Xinxin asked Lin Chen. You can order for me, he replied. Their beef rice rolls and kanji are quite delectable, and the sticky rice chicken is also good, Lu Xinxin said, her mouth watering at the thought. Lin Chen nodded, turning to the proprietor. I would like a bowl of kanji, a bowl of beef offal kanji, 3 servings of beef rice rolls, 1 sticky rice chicken, and 4 Xiaomi. He then asked Lu Xinxin and Zhang Lulu, what would you like? Were you not just ordering for the 3 of us? Zhang Lulu asked, surprised. That is for myself, Lin Chen admitted shyly. Lu Xinxin, however, was not astonished, having witnessed Lin Chen's appetite the previous day. You go find a table, and we will order our own, Lu Xinxin instructed Lin Chen. He nodded and found an empty table to sit at. Lu Xinxin, it seems you will need to work hard to earn a living. Otherwise, with your young boyfriend's appetite, you will not be able to support him. After Lin Chen left, Zhang Lulu teased Lu Xinxin in a hushed tone. Oh, be quiet. Let us see what we will eat. Lu Xinxin shot Zhang Lulu a sidelong glance. Chapter 22 Shopping on such a sweltering day. Why don't we take a stroll through the mall? After finishing their meal, Lin Chen proposed. I have no objections. Zhang Lulu and Lu Xinxin eagerly nodded in agreement. Which mall is the closest to here? Lin Chen continued to inquire. Vientiane City, it's only about 3 kilometers away. Aren't you from Shenzhen? Zhang Lulu looked at Lin Chen with a hint of confusion. No, I'm from Haicheng, Lin Chen replied. Upon hearing this, Zhang Lulu shot Lu Xinxin a peculiar smile. Let us go, we'll take a taxi. Lu Xinxin waved down a cab. Do you have anything in particular you wish to purchase? Upon arriving at Vientiane City, Lin Chen asked the two of them. Nothing, but I'll help you buy a couple of outfits later, Lu Xinxin suggested. Glancing at Lin Chen's somewhat worn white t-shirt and gray casual pants. Sure, just let me know what you like, and I'll buy it for you. Lin Chen readily agreed. He was well aware that his fashion sense was lacking, and since Lu Xinxin volunteered, he was quick to accept. I'm curious. What do you see in him? Is it just his looks? Zhang Lulu clearly noticed Lin Chen's attire as well. It was evident that he was not from a wealthy family based on his clothing. Lu Xinxin shot her a disapproving glance, but remained silent. Have you thought about trying on their clothes? Upon arriving at the store, Lu Xinxin asked Lin Chen. I'm open to anything. Lin Chen nodded. He knew that the brand was luxurious, but given his current financial status, he wouldn't hold it in high regard regardless of the price. Zhang Lulu looked at her friend with admiration. She had never dared to buy such luxury items before, but for her little boyfriend, she was willing to splurge. Before long, Lu Xinxin had selected 2 cartoon-patterned white t-shirts, 1 black and 1 white jacket, along with 1 gray and 1 white pair of casual pants for Lin Chen. He immediately changed into a white t-shirt and gray pants, discarding his old clothes into the trash. Lin Chen wasn't one to cling to outdated garments, with better conditions. He naturally wouldn't settle for less. At the checkout, Lin Chen attempted to pay, but Lu Xinxin stopped him, claiming that this was a gift to celebrate his new school term. Lin Chen, upon hearing this, ceased his refusals. You must be planning to live in poverty next month. You're really willing to spend so much on a newly minted boyfriend. What kind of charm has he cast on you? Zhang Lulu, accompanying Lu Xinxin at the checkout, couldn't help but remind her upon seeing the 23,000 yuan bill. I'm delighted to do so, Lu Xinxin replied with a blissful smile. You've truly lost your mind. Zhang Lulu sighed, exasperated. Is there anything you wish to buy? Since you've already treated me, I must treat you in return. And you cannot refuse. Lin Chen resolved to prepare a few gifts for Lu Xinxin before they left. He sensed that Lu Xinxin's feelings for him were genuine. Although there certainly was an element of financial influence, that was only natural, wasn't it? No need for that. I'm not lacking anything right now. Lu Xinxin quickly declined. I said no refusals. If you don't accept, my money will just go to other women. Lin Chen said half-jokingly. Fine, I'll accept. If you dare to flirt with other women, I'll make sure to bite you. Lu Xinxin glared at Lin Chen with mock fury. Then let us go? Lin Chen took Lu Xinxin's hand, grinning with satisfaction. Welcome to the Patek Philippe counter. Upon arriving at the Patek Philippe counter, the attendant greeted him with enthusiasm. Sir, would you like to see men's or women's watches? A female sales associate asked Lin Chen eagerly. Women's watches, Lin Chen replied immediately. Please see this way. Here is our classic Nautilus series, the A24 series. The sales associate showcased several watches to Lin Chen. Is he really sober? Why did he bring us here? We couldn't afford even a single watch if we sold ourselves. Zhang Lulu anxiously clutched Lu Xinxin's arm. It's fine, even if we don't buy anything. We can still look, Lu Xinxin reassured her friend with a pat on the hand. Look how seriously he is discussing with the sales associate. It would be awkward if he doesn't buy anything, Zhang Lulu pointed out. It's fine, the awkwardness is on him, not us, Lu Xinxin said, suppressing a laugh. Let me see that one. Lin Chen pointed to a rose gold diamond-studded women's watch. Certainly, this is our A24 series model 7010 watch. The sales associate explained as she presented the watch to Lin Chen. May I try it on? Lin Chen inquired. Of course, the sales associate promptly replied. Please help her try it on, Lin Chen said, gesturing to Lu Xinxin, who was chatting with her friend. Certainly, the sales associate approached Lu Xinxin, saying, Hello. The gentleman would like you to try on this watch. Lu Xinxin looked at the sales associate in confusion, but extended her left hand nonetheless. There you go. Please take a look and see if it suits you. Within moments, the sales associate had placed the watch on Lu Xinxin's wrist. It looks beautiful. Lin Chen was the first to voice his opinion. The two women gazed at the watch with bright eyes. The rose gold watch paired with Lu Xinxin's fair wrist. illuminated by the lighting, created a stunning effect. How much is this? Lin Chen asked the sales associate. 405, 700 yuan, the sales associate replied promptly. Upon hearing the price, both women nearly turned to flee. While they knew Patek Philippe was expensive, this was beyond their expectations. Swipe the card. Lin Chen pulled out a VIP gold card from a renowned bank and handed it to the sales associate. This is too extravagant. I can't accept it. Before the sales associate could take the card, Lu Xinxin immediately declared. Zhang Lulu, thinking Lu Xinxin was defending Lin Chen's honor, nodded in agreement. I said no refusals. Just swipe the card. Lin Chen insisted, handing the card directly to the sales associate. You're incredibly domineering. Lu Xinxin, moved yet unable to refrain from teasing, remarked. Zhang Lulu looked at Lin Chen as if he were a fool. They were trying to help him save face, yet he didn't appreciate it. Sir, please enter your password. Lin Chen took the POS machine, entered the password, and then signed his name. The machine promptly printed a receipt. This scene left Zhang Lulu astounded. She had not anticipated that Lin Chen was a hidden magnate. What are you doing? Just wear it, Lin Chen asked, noticing Lu Xinxin attempting to remove the watch. It's too valuable. What if someone has ill intentions? Lu Xinxin expressed her concern. Relax, who would pay attention to your wrist? Moreover, there are plenty of replicas on the market. Just wear it with confidence, Lin Chen replied, amused. All right then. Lu Xinxin raised her wrist to the light, admiring the sparkling watch. The more she looked, the more she liked it. Let us go. I'll take you to buy some more things, Lin Chen said, pulling Lu Xinxin toward other luxury boutiques. After 2 or 3 hours of shopping, Lin Chen had purchased for Lu Xinxin 2 Hermes bags, a diamond necklace, and a multitude of clothes and shoes, leaving the trio with an abundance of shopping bags. Big shot. Do you need a pendant for your leg? How about me? Does it suit you? During a brief respite, Zhang Lulu gazed at the sea of shopping bags with sparkling eyes. I do need one. A warm-hearted maid would be just perfect, and you seem quite promising, Lin Chen joked. Chapter 23. Continuation of shopping. What brings you here? After finishing their lunch, Lin Chen took Lu Xinxin and her friend, who was acting as a third wheel, laden with a plethora of shopping bags, to a Mercedes-Benz dealership. Upon arriving at the entrance, Lu Xinxin, puzzled, inquired, Why are we here? Lin Chen casually replied, To buy you a car for convenience, and, ignoring her protests, guided her into the dealership, welcomed by the salesperson. I don't need a car. My home is so close to the company, Lu Xinxin said, somewhat flustered. Lin Chen, undeterred, insisted, Today, my word is final. He then turned to the salesperson, asking, Do you have any CLS models available? Yes, sir, please follow me. The salesperson responded eagerly, having overheard their conversation and sensing a potential sale. We have a pearl white vehicle in our garage that matches this display model, though it has slightly higher specifications and is priced at 790,000. The salesperson led Lin Chen and the 2 women to a sleek white CLS and continued. What do you think of this car? It seems rather expensive. Lu Xinxin hesitated, glancing at the hefty price tag of 750,000. Just tell me if it looks good. Lin Chen interjected. It's beautiful, Lu Xinxin admitted honestly. All right, let us go with this model. Lin Chen nodded and then asked the salesperson. Are there any discounts on this vehicle? Are you paying in full or opting for financing? The salesperson queried. How much for a full payment and how much for financing? Lin Chen inquired, recalling that sometimes financing options might offer better deals. If you pay in full, we can give you a discount of 20,000 yuan and provide window tinting and a set of floor mats. If you choose financing, the discount is 40,000, but there is a loan processing fee of 10,000, and the 3-year interest would be about 22,000, plus a registration fee of 5,000. The salesperson detailed the options. Give me a 40,000 discount for full payment. If that is feasible, we'll sign the agreement today. Otherwise, I'll explore other options, Lin Chen declared, feeling overwhelmed by the salesperson's lengthy explanation. We never offered such a significant discount. The salesperson quickly countered, shaking his head. Then let us keep looking. Lin Chen, unperturbed, pulled Lu Xinxin towards the exit. Although he had never purchased a car before, he was well aware of such sales tactics. Moreover, being a coupe, the CLS was not a high-demand vehicle, and dealers would often be willing to sacrifice profits to meet sales quotas. Wait, let me consult with the manager. The salesperson, sensing Lin Chen's unwavering stance, rushed off. Fine, hurry up. If it doesn't work out, I'll check out Porsche. Lin Chen nodded, recognizing the familiar sales maneuver. Lin Chen, are you really going to buy this? Wouldn't it be too ostentatious for me to drive it? Lu Xinxin asked, concerned. What is there to fear? It's perfect. Next time I visit, you can drive me. And you can also take your friends out for shopping and travel, Lin Chen reassured her. All right then. Lu Xinxin's interest was piqued. After all, if men love cars, why shouldn't women? Wow, no wonder he won you over in just 4 days. Ask your boyfriend if he has any brothers or friends to introduce to me, Zhang Lulu exclaimed, pulling Lu Xinxin into the display car with envy. None. He is an only child, Lu Xinxin thought to herself, realizing it was unlikely to find siblings. From now on, you'll be my only sister. If you become a rich lady, don't forget about me. Zhang Lulu expressed her disappointment. If I become a wealthy lady, the first thing I'll do is delete your contact. Lu Xinxin replied seriously, then burst into laughter. All right, let us see how I'll deal with you, little vixen. Sir, after much persuasion, our manager has finally agreed. I even sacrificed my commission for this deal. The salesperson returned, looking somewhat weary but triumphant. Thank you. I'll refer my friends to you when they need a car, Lin Chen said with a polite smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Thank you in advance. Here is our sales contract. Please review it for any uncertainties. If all is well, we can proceed with signing, the salesperson said. Aware that his poor acting skills had been seen through, but indifferent as long as the deal went through. All right, let us sign, Lin Chen confirmed after a thorough review. Please sign in these designated areas and provide your ID, the salesperson instructed, pointing to the signing locations. Lin Chen nodded and gestured for Lu Xinxin to come over and sign. Once all the paperwork was completed, Lu Xinxin held a bouquet of flowers in one hand and linked arms with Lin Chen, posing in front of the freshly cleaned new car for a photo. Congratulations, Miss Lu, on becoming a proud owner of a Mercedes-Benz. After the photo, the salesperson handed Lu Xinxin the car keys, congratulating her. Thank you. Lu Xinxin exclaimed excitedly as she accepted the keys and impulsively kissed Lin Chen. We've already arranged your temporary license plate, which is in the car. The window tinting is scheduled for next Wednesday, and once that is done, our staff will accompany you to the vehicle registration office, the salesperson added. Okay, sounds good. Lu Xinxin replied cheerfully. Could you drive a bit faster? Lin Chen, seated in the passenger seat, remarked as he observed Lu Xinxin driving at a snail's pace. It's my first time driving since getting my license. Lu Xinxin retorted defensively. Never mind, this pace is just fine. Lin Chen was momentarily at a loss for words. Despite knowing how to drive, he had never obtained a license, and as a law-abiding citizen, he refused to drive without one. Slow down, slow down. Brake during the ride. Both Lin Chen and Zhang Lulu were on edge, never anticipating that riding in a car could feel like a roller coaster. Chapter 24. Buying a house. Stop the car. I need to get out. Zhang Lulu shouted as Lu Xinxin narrowly avoided an oncoming vehicle. I want to live a few more years. I won't intrude on your little world anymore. Goodbye. Zhang Lulu exclaimed, hastily exiting the car. Lin Chen glared at Zhang Lulu's sudden escape, frustrated at her lack of loyalty. What happened to our friendship? How could you abandon us midway? Is she all right? Lu Xinxin asked Lin Chen, concerned. She is fine. Let's skip your rented place and head straight to a hotel, Lin Chen replied, exasperated by Lu Xinxin's antics. It's still early, why rush? Lu Xinxin said sheepishly. What are you thinking? You can't expect her to eavesdrop at night. Let us book a room first. And then we can watch a movie, Lin Chen thought to himself, unwilling to admit his own feelings. You make a valid point. Let us go. There is a Hilton nearby, so we can stay there tonight, Lu Xinxin readily agreed, not wanting her friend to overhear anything. All right, you handle the arrangements. Lin Chen said nonchalantly. It's all your fault. It's already noon. As they dressed, Lu Xinxin could not help but complain. In the prime of life, one must certainly indulge in pursuits they cherish. Lin Chen casually remarked, then continued, I plan to fly to the Magic City tonight. Is there anything you wish to purchase? Given that tomorrow marked the final day for new students to register, Lin Chen deemed it unwise to return the following day, as unforeseen events could arise, necessitating a degree of flexibility. So soon? Lu Xinxin's expression darkened at his words. Don't worry, I will come to see you again on the 11th. Alternatively, you can visit me in the Magic City if you find yourself free, Lin Chen comforted, gently ruffling Lu Xinxin's hair. All right. Lu Xinxin nodded, her spirits lifting slightly. Is there anything else you wish to buy? Lin Chen inquired further. No, The things you've already bought for me are more than enough, Lu Xinxin replied, shaking her head. Shall I take you to buy an apartment? It would provide us with a place to stay when I visit next, Lin Chen suddenly suggested. Are you crazy? Do you have any idea how much property costs in the city now? Lu Xinxin immediately opposed. How much? Lin Chen asked dismissively. Can it possibly reach the prices of the future? The average price is already 17,000 per square meter. Lu Xinxin expressed her despair regarding the housing prices, knowing well that even with a decent salary of over 3,000 yuan a month at her job, it would take her nearly 5 months of frugal living to afford a single square meter. Is that all? I expected it to be much more expensive. I didn't realize it was so affordable, Lin Chen said, recalling the exorbitant prices from a future era, unimpressed. Though he had no intention of engaging in property speculation, he deemed it prudent to acquire several residences for his own use. It then dawned on Lu Xinxin that her partner was indeed a newly minted millionaire. Just so we're clear, the property must be registered in your name. Lu Xinxin felt they lacked formal recognition of their relationship and could not comfortably accept such a generous gift from Lin Chen. All right, we shall proceed as you say, Lin Chen replied nonchalantly, knowing that the property would ultimately be hers to reside in after his departure. Are there any developments near your company? Lin Chen inquired. I've heard of a popular estate called Bowning Taikou City, though I haven't visited it, Lu Xinxin mused. Very well, let us go take a look, Lin Chen declared, confident that properties in the city were unlikely to lose value, prioritizing the quality of the community. Chapter 25, continuing the property purchase. Hello, sir and madam. Welcome to our Taikou City development. I am Li Xiao, your property consultant. Upon arriving at the sales office, a property consultant promptly approached them. Hello. Could you please provide us with information about your development? Lin Chen asked, gazing at the expansive model of the estate. Certainly, sir. Our Taikou City project is situated in the core area of Nanshan Hohai Bay, featuring a large, high-end residential complex by the sea. It comprises northern and southern zones, with the northern zone primarily offering 130 to 170 square meter 3 to 4 bedroom units, as well as 207 square meter 5 bedroom units. The southern zone features small units ranging from 40 to 90 square meters, all delivered with exquisite finishing, Li Xiao explained, guiding the laser pointer over the model. Are all the units available for immediate occupancy? Lin Chen inquired. Indeed, you can move in as soon as you purchase, Li Xiao affirmed. Satisfied, Lin Chen nodded and continued. Could you take me to see the 207 square meter unit? Of course, Li Xiao readily agreed. Judging by Lin Chen and Lu Xinxin's attire, particularly Lu Xinxin's Hermes handbag and Patek Philippe watch, Li Xiao recognized them as potential clients with significant purchasing power. The southern entrance of the community opens directly to Haiwei Metro Station and its expansive commercial center of 100,000 square meters. If you enjoy fitness, the Shenzhen Bay Sports Center is nearby. As they entered the community, Li Xiao continued to elaborate on the amenities available. What is the current price per square meter? Lin Chen pressed on. Our current price is 38,000 yuan per square meter, and we offer a 2 discount for full payment, Li Xiao replied, discreetly gauging Lin Chen's reaction. Observing his impassive demeanor, she felt relieved. This building is our flagship property, standing 24 stories tall. The 207 square meter unit is located here, Li Xiao indicated as they approached a building. Lin Chen nodded in acknowledgement. Both the front and rear balconies are included as complimentary space, and all appliances are imported Siemens products, with environmentally friendly materials used in the decor. As they entered the unit, Li Xiao guided them through, detailing the layout and finishes. What do you think? Lin Chen asked Lu Xinxin after their tour. It's quite nice, Lu Xinxin admitted, her interest piqued by the lavish decor. Well then, this is the one, Lin Chen declared, equally pleased with the surroundings and amenities offered by the community. Li Xiao, overhearing their decision, felt a surge of excitement. The community primarily sold smaller units, and this larger unit had seen minimal sales since its launch, thus offering higher commissions for agents to encourage sales of such properties. Let's return to the sales office and calculate the total cost, Lin Chen instructed Li Xiao. Certainly, sir. Li Xiao stifled her excitement and quickly complied. The total area is 207 square meters at 38,000 yuan per square meter, bringing the total price to 7,866 million yuan. With the 2 discount for full payment, the final price is 7,708 million yuan. Do you have any objections to this price? Li Xiaoro concluded her calculations and looked at Lin Chen anxiously. What is the cost of a parking space? Lin Chen asked instead of responding. 150,000 yuan each. Li Xiaoro replied, watching Lin Chen intently. I won't haggle. Throw in 2 parking spaces for me, Lin Chen proposed after a moment's thought. Given the current tightening of housing policies and mortgage regulations, the real estate market was rather sluggish. I will need to consult my manager about this. Li Xiaoro exhaled, relieved that this minor request was within her discretion, yet still opting for a formal approach. Very well, go ahead, Lin Chen consented. Mr. Lin, I have good news. Our manager has agreed. Li Xiaoro soon returned, her face alight with excitement. Thank you, Lin Chen said with a smile. Here is our purchase agreement. I will need your signature and fingerprint. Li Xiaoro promptly handed Lin Chen the contract, pointing to the signature line. Goodbye, Mr. Lin. Li Xiaoro watched as Lin Chen departed, unable to suppress her feelings of admiration. It was only during the contract signing that she recognized him as the Lin Chen who had recently become the talk of the town. Reflecting on his extraordinary journey, she couldn't help but feel envious. Just last month, he was a mere laborer on a construction site, and now he was a billionaire. Such a legendary story seemed too remarkable to be true. The keys to your new home are in your possession. You may move in there from now on, Lin Chen said, his gaze fixed ahead as they made their way to the airport. I won't be paying you any rent, Lu Xinxin teased, a playful smile dancing on her lips. No worries. If you can't pay, we can settle it in other ways, Lin Chen joked, feeling a mischievous impulse, but quickly dismissed the thought upon recalling Lu Xinxin's driving skills. You and your incessant thoughts, Lu Xinxin playfully retorted, her tone imbued with affection. Don't you wish for that? Lin Chen countered. Not at all. Lu Xinxin, her cheeks flushed, fixed her gaze ahead, and spoke with a hint of contradiction. Is it possible for me to have my 2 university roommates come to live with me as well? I feel a bit scared being alone, and it's rather dull. She continued. All right, you make the arrangements. Lin Chen readily agreed without hesitation. She had already met one of Lu Xinxin's friends, who possessed a pleasant demeanor, and she believed the 3 of them could become close companions. The other friend would likely not disappoint either. Wonderful. Lu Xinxin couldn't suppress her joy, naturally extroverted. She preferred sharing a living space with her roommates rather than residing alone. As they conversed, they arrived at the airport parking lot. However, as soon as they parked, Lu Xinxin, who had been laughing moments before, suddenly broke down in tears. Enough, don't cry. I promise I will come to visit you whenever I can. Lin Chen sighed, attempting to comfort the weeping Lu Xinxin. Their relationship had just blossomed 2 days prior, and now Lin Chen was set to fly to Shanghai, leaving Lu Xinxin reluctant to part ways. You said it. If you don't come, I'll make sure to give you a green hat, Lu Xinxin said with tearful eyes. You wouldn't dare. Lin Chen playfully smacked her lightly. That hurts. I was just joking. No need to be so forceful. Lu Xinxin gasped, rubbing her thigh where she had been struck. Even in jest, such words should not be uttered, Lin Chen replied sternly. Chapter 26. Freshman Registration. Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, our flight is expected to arrive at Shanghai Hangzhou International Airport in approximately 30 minutes. The ground temperature in Shanghai is 33 degrees Celsius. A vibrant city of dreams and opportunities. The announcement from the flight attendants roused Lin Chen from her slumber. Peering through the window at the sea of lights below, she felt a surge of ambition. Shanghai, here I come. Lin Chen's confidence stemmed from the nearly 400 million in cash she possessed after paying taxes, with personal technology transfer taxes at 20. Even without a golden touch, she believed her foresight would elevate her to the ranks of the world's wealthiest individuals. After the plane landed, Lin Chen collected her luggage and took a taxi to a chain hotel near Fudan University. After a night of silence, she dressed and enjoyed breakfast in the hotel's buffet area before checking out and heading to the university. Even though it was already the 3rd day of registration, a steady stream of new students continued to arrive. After consulting several senior students, Lin Chen finally located the registration point for the Department of Information Engineering. Hello. May I ask if this is where I register for the Department of Information Engineering? Lin Chen approached a beautiful senior under an awning, who was busy with registrations. Yes. Please wait a moment while I finish this registration before assisting you, she replied without looking up. All right, Lin Chen said, patiently joining the queue with her luggage. May I see your acceptance letter? Before long, it was Lin Chen's turn. The senior glanced up slightly and inquired. Lin Chen obediently handed over her acceptance letter. Lin Chen, the senior exclaimed upon seeing the name on the letter. then looked up to scrutinize Lin Chen closely. "Are you Lin Chen?" she asked again for confirmation. "Yes. Is there a problem?" Lin Chen replied, somewhat puzzled, wondering if her name was an issue. "It's really you. Your name is known throughout the university. The department head specifically instructed us to bring you to his office if we encountered you." The senior stood up, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she regarded Lin Chen. Her enthusiastic voice quickly attracted the attention of those nearby. Lin Chen's reputation was well known, particularly for having sold a program to a major corporation for $1 billion. The buzz surrounding this event had eclipsed even his inspiring personal story, especially among students in the information engineering department, who idolized him and aspired to attain similar wealth. Could you please register me first?" Lin Chen, feeling a bit embarrassed by the gathering crowd pointing and whispering, likened himself to an animal on display in a zoo. "Oh, right. Please wait a moment. After I complete your registration, I will take you to the department head's office," the senior said, realizing this was not the appropriate setting for such discussions. As Lin Chen registered, a post titled "The Most Impressive Freshman Lin Chen's Registration Scene" on the university's forum sparked considerable excitement among students and faculty. The post contained no words, only several photos of Lin Chen at the registration site, concluding with a remark about how he had become a billionaire before even starting university, a true winner in life. "My husband is so handsome. I want to meet him. How can someone be both wealthy and attractive? People are judged by their appearance." The contrast between Lin Chen's dusty construction site photo and his current look is astonishing. 3 minutes. I need Lin Chen's contact information. Show off, just because you have money. You change to luxury items. If you have money to enjoy, so what? If you can buy it too. I want to discuss a multi-billion-dollar deal with Lin Chen, who has his contact information. At that moment, Lin Chen remained blissfully unaware of his newfound fame at the university. After completing his registration, he quickly followed the senior away from the increasingly curious crowd towards the department head's office. "This is terrifying. I feel like I'm being watched like a monkey in a zoo," Lin Chen remarked, still shaken after escaping the throng. "Hee. That's what happens when you become too famous. I bet your reputation here surpasses that of any celebrity." The senior giggled, covering her mouth. "By the way, do you know why the department head wants to see me?" Lin Chen inquired curiously. "Don't call me senior anymore. Let me introduce myself properly. My name is Zheng Qian, and I'm also a student in the information engineering department, a junior. As for why the head wants to see you, I'm not quite sure," Zheng Qian said, stopping to formally introduce herself. Lin Chen carefully examined Zheng Qian, her exquisite oval face framed by smooth black hair, her stunning features highlighted by sparkling eyes, and her height appeared to be at least 1.7 meters. Dressed in a knee-length light blue dress, she exuded charm. Freshman Lin Chen, male, fond of females. Lin Chen pretended to be serious as he shook Zheng Qian's hand. Ha, you're quite amusing." Zheng Qian laughed heartily. Lin Chen joined in her laughter, realizing that women are often pragmatic. Had he introduced himself as a penniless individual, he might have been misconstrued as inappropriate. However, now that he was a billionaire, such remarks were seen as humorous. "Let us exchange contact information so we can reach each other for any school-related matters." Zheng Qian pulled out her Nokia N8 and presented it to Lin Chen. "No problem. My phone number is 138-5789. Just give me a call," Lin Chen replied, pulling out his older mobile phone as well. "Why are you still using such an old phone when you're so wealthy?" Zheng Qian asked, astonished at Lin Chen's device. "I haven't had the chance to upgrade, and honestly, any phone serves me just fine," Lin Chen explained. Despite the release of newer models, he found little distinction in functionality compared to his older device, which he had yet to replace. "Oh," Zheng Qian pondered. "Is this what it means to be an influential figure? The perspective is indeed different." Nevertheless, she promptly dialed Lin Chen's number. After hearing Lin Chen's phone ring, she couldn't help but hang up with a beaming expression. Chapter 27. Accommodation Arrangements. Knock, knock, knock. Upon arriving at the door of the dean's office, Zheng Qian rapped lightly. "Come in," a mature voice resonated from within. "Dean Chen, this is Lin Chen. I have completed his registration." Zheng Qian, somewhat anxious, gestured towards Lin Chen while reporting to Dean Chen. "Oh, Lin, please take a seat." Dean Chen's eyes lit up immediately upon hearing her words. "I'll take my leave now," Zheng Qian said, sensing the atmosphere and wisely exiting Dean Chen's office. "Thank you for your assistance." Dean Chen politely remarked to Zheng Qian before turning to Lin Chen with admiration. "Lin, you truly are a remarkable young man. You are even more handsome in person than in your photographs. Thank you for your kind words, Dean Chen, Lin Chen replied with a forced smile. Uncertain of Dean Chen's intentions, on behalf of Fudan University, I extend a warm welcome to you, Lin. Should you encounter any difficulties in life or studies, do not hesitate to seek my assistance, Dean Chen said with a friendly demeanor. Thank you for you and the school's concern, Lin Chen smiled in response. The purpose of my visit is twofold. Primarily, I wish to meet you, this legendary figure. Secondarily, the president and I would like to propose that you serve as this year's representative for the new students and deliver a speech at the opening ceremony. What are your thoughts on this? Dean Chen revealed the true reason for Lin Chen's visit. I have no objections. However, I am a bit concerned about my speech not meeting expectations and potentially embarrassing the school, Lin Chen contemplated before not outright declining. Given his future prominence due to his ties to the library, he was not particularly averse to public appearances. Not to worry. We believe this minor task will pose no challenge for you, Dean Chen said, beaming with delight. Then I shall humbly accept, Lin Chen replied with a smile. Additionally, I must inform you that the school leadership has pledged to waive your tuition and fees for 4 years. While this may seem insignificant to you now, it is a token of our goodwill, and I hope you will not refuse it, Dean Chen continued. Originally, the school's decision to waive Lin Chen's fees stemmed from social responsibility and external promotion. Although Lin Chen may not need the funds, his value had certainly transformed. And for a student worth billions at the onset of his freshman year, their attention was well warranted. Perhaps this should be reserved for students in greater need. I would feel unworthy receiving it. Lin Chen promptly shook his head in refusal. This arrangement was made with careful consideration, and the school has even issued a public announcement. Surely you wouldn't want to let us down, would you? At this juncture, Dean Chen was not prepared to relinquish the matter easily. Given that, it would indeed be inappropriate for me to decline. Thus, starting this year, I will donate 5 million yuan annually specifically for the tuition and living expenses of our school's underprivileged students. How does that sound? Lin Chen deliberated carefully before proposing. The notion of attending university had become a lifelong aspiration for Lin Chen. With this opportunity to start anew, he certainly would not let it slip by again. Moreover, Fudan University, being a premier institution, would provide invaluable connections for Lin Chen's future. Cultivating a good relationship with the school would yield nothing but benefits for him. In that case, it seems our school has gained more than we bargained for. Allow me to express my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of all our disadvantaged students. Dean Chen exclaimed with joy at this unexpected windfall. This is the least I could do. During my own studies, I received help from many kind-hearted individuals. Now that I am capable, it is only right to give back to society, Lin Chen expressed sincerely. This statement was not merely a facade. It was indeed a commitment he intended to uphold. Yet, for now, the funds at his disposal were limited, as he planned to make substantial donations when his financial situation became more favorable. Let us agree on this then. I will report this wonderful news to the president shortly to bring him some joy, Dean Chen said, genuinely impressed. Few possess the ability to express gratitude and act upon it. Many merely speak of goodwill, yet falter when action is required. Do you have any specific requirements regarding accommodation? Dean Chen inquired with concern. Could I be assigned a single room? Or might I apply to reside off campus? Lin Chen considered before responding, as he had never been fond of bustling environments, whether in this life or the last. Very well, I shall arrange a faculty dormitory for you. You may choose to stay on campus when you wish, or reside off campus if you prefer, Dean Chen contemplated before concluding. Thank you very much, Dean Chen. Lin Chen expressed his gratitude promptly. Do not mention it. Is there anything else I can assist you with? Dean Chen waved his hand, signaling Lin Chen to feel at ease. I have come across an investment project I am keen on. I may need to negotiate with the founders soon. So I might not have time to participate in military training, Lin Chen admitted somewhat sheepishly. Not a problem. Focus on your endeavors. Your success will reflect positively on our school. Dean Chen wholeheartedly supported him. The nation is currently encouraging entrepreneurship among university students. And if Lin Chen could establish himself during his university years, Dean Chen would also bask in his glory. I assure you, I will not disappoint, Lin Chen confidently replied. We eagerly await your achievements. Is there anything else you need from us? Dean Chen inquired with satisfaction. Not at the moment. Your assistance has already been immensely helpful. Lin Chen shook his head, feeling relieved that the school's matters were resolved. All right, I won't take up any more of your time. I will have a staff member from the logistics department escort you to your dormitory, Lin Chen stated while reaching for the phone on his desk. Shortly after, a young man entered Lin Chen's office. Dean, you called for me? The young man asked respectfully. Yes, Xiaomi, please arrange a faculty dormitory for Lin Chen. Ensuring it's in a favorable location, Lin Chen instructed while gesturing towards Lin Chen. Understood. Is there anything else? Li Haoran continued to inquire. No, just take Lin Chen now and accompany him to purchase some daily necessities, Lin Chen added, having considered that Lin Chen was unfamiliar with the campus environment. All right, let us proceed. Li Haoran nodded earnestly to Lin Chen before turning to Lin Chen. Lin, let us be on our way. Lin Chen replied with a smile. Thank you, Teacher Li. As they left Lin Chen's office, Li Haoran suggested, I will first take you to the logistics warehouse to collect bedding and pillows. And then we can head to the supermarket for your daily supplies. Does that sound acceptable? I am fine with that. I appreciate your help, Teacher Li. Lin Chen responded amiably to the arrangement. Having just arrived at the school, he possessed little more than a few clothes and a laptop, leaving him with no option but to stay in a hotel if he desired accommodation for the night. It's no trouble at all. It's just a small favor. By the way, there is an empty room next to mine. You can stay there, which means we can look out for each other. Should anything arise, you can reach out to me directly, Li Haoran beamed, recognizing the potential benefits of cultivating a friendship with a billionaire. I have no objections. I look forward to your guidance in the future. Lin Chen smiled in agreement. Chapter 28. Li Haoran, please, no need to call me Teacher Li. Just call me Li Haoran, he replied with a hearty laugh. Then I shall call you Li Gu, Lin Chen remarked casually. During their conversation, Lin Chen gathered some preliminary understanding of Li Haoran. At merely 26 years of age, Li Haoran had pursued a degree in business administration and had recently acquired a master's degree from Fudan University. Upon graduation, he had opted to remain at the university, not engaging in teaching but rather working in the logistics department. Before long, under Li Haoran's guidance, Lin Chen received a set of bedding, a pillow, and a key from the logistics warehouse, after which Li Haoran led him to the faculty dormitory. The faculty dormitory was only completed last year. Your room is in Building 2, on the 3rd floor, room 306. I am in room 305, Li Haoran explained while cradling Lin Chen's bedding in his arms. Upon entering the dormitory, Lin Chen set down his luggage and took a brief survey of the apartment. The space was approximately 50 square meters, featuring a layout of one bedroom, one living room, and one bathroom. The decor was neither extravagant nor shabby, merely conventional. Yet it was certainly an improvement over the accommodations he had rented in his previous life. After assessing the apartment, Lin Chen and Li Haoran tidied up the bedding before making a trip to the campus supermarket to procure some daily necessities. As they approached the supermarket, Lin Chen was taken aback by the throngs of people waiting outside. He had never encountered such long lines during his 3 years of part-time work at a supermarket. With the start of the semester, many freshmen need to purchase their essentials. It will ease up in a few days, Li Haoran explained with a smile. Lin Chen nodded in understanding and joined the queue. Once inside, he found little he needed, primarily purchasing toiletries. After paying, he emerged from the supermarket with a hefty bag of goods and noticed it was already noon. Li Gu, you've assisted me all morning. Let me treat you to lunch before we head back, Lin Chen suggested. Li Haoran immediately shook his head, saying, You just arrived. It would be unreasonable for you to treat. This meal is on me, and we can also take the opportunity to get your meal card. Lin Chen felt a bit awkward. Am I not taking advantage of you? He replied. It's just a meal. It won't cost much. You can treat me another time. Li Haoran smiled and insisted, Then I shall graciously accept. After some contemplation, Lin Chen agreed, thinking they would surely have more opportunities to meet in the future, and he could always treat him later. At that moment, Lin Chen's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and saw it was a call from Shen Nan. He smacked his forehead, recalling that he had promised to contact her upon arriving at school, but had completely forgotten amidst the distractions. Lin Chen, you promised to call me when you arrived at school. If I hadn't seen your post on the campus forum, I wouldn't have known you were here. Shen Nan's voice, tinged with mild reproach, came through as soon as he answered. I just arrived and was busy. I was about to head to the cafeteria for lunch, Lin Chen replied, feeling a bit sheepish. Which cafeteria are you at? I haven't eaten yet. And I'd like to treat you, she offered eagerly. Let us do it tonight. I'll treat you to dinner later. Right now, I'm with a senior. Lin Chen said, scratching his head and ultimately declining, as it felt inappropriate to bring someone else along when Li Haoran was treating. All right then, don't forget tonight. Xiaomi said, sounding slightly disappointed. I won't forget. Expect my call. Lin Chen assured her. Okay, I won't disturb you further. See you tonight, she concluded, her tone brightening with anticipation. See you tonight, Lin Chen echoed as he ended the call. Was that your girlfriend? Li Haoran inquired curiously. Not quite. She's a high school classmate and also a freshman here, Lin Chen clarified. Oh, let us go? We need to get your meal card before the staff leaves for the day, Li Haoran remarked, glancing at the time before leading Lin Chen toward the cafeteria. Upon arriving, Li Haoran helped Lin Chen obtain a meal card. Afterward, Lin Chen deposited 50,000 yuan into it, an amount that would likely suffice for his dining expenses throughout his university years, given the cafeteria prices. Only a billionaire would be so extravagant. This 50,000 is enough for 2 years of living expenses. Li Haoran teased. I thought I'd deload a bit more to avoid frequent top-ups later. Lin Chen chuckled in response. As they bantered, they reached the cafeteria's serving area, where Li Haoran boisterously declared, choose whatever you like. Today I'm treating. Lin Chen laughed heartily. In that case, I won't hold back. He filled 2 plates with food and a generous serving of rice, much to Li Haoran's astonishment. Although taken aback, Li Haoran was not distressed, as the seemingly abundant meal cost only a little over 30 yuan due to the inexpensive dishes. Thank goodness you're a billionaire. Otherwise, a typical family couldn't afford to feed you, Li Haoran jested. Not sure what is going on, but I've definitely had a hearty appetite these past 2 months. Lin Chen mused, thinking he might need a checkup soon. Are you perhaps growing taller again? Li Haoran speculated. That is unlikely. I was already 180 centimeters in my second year of high school and remained the same until my rebirth, Lin Chen replied. Having never considered such a possibility. There's a height and weight measuring machine over there. You can check it out in a bit, Li Haoran pointed out. Hold on. I'll measure now. Otherwise, after eating all this, it won't be accurate, Lin Chen said, heading toward the measuring device, with Li Haoran following closely behind. Is this scale reliable? Lin Chen asked, surprised to see his height displayed as 182 centimeters and weight as 82 kilograms. It was noteworthy that he had previously measured 180 centimeters and weighed 75 kilograms. The weight gain surprised him less, considering his increased appetite, yet 82 kilograms felt just right. And he still had visible abdominal muscles. The height, however, astonished him. After more than 30 years without change, he had unexpectedly grown 2 centimeters in just 2 months. Let me give it a try, Li Haoran said after Lin Chen stepped down. He stood on the scale and saw his own reading, 175 centimeters and 74 kilograms. That is consistent with what I measured a few days ago, Li Haoran confirmed. I can't believe I'm actually still growing, Lin Chen exclaimed joyfully. Although he was already satisfied with his height, he wouldn't mind gaining a bit more. Chapter 29. BTC. The good news of his renewed growth spurred Lin Chen to consume an additional large serving of rice at lunch, leaving Li Haoran seated across from him, utterly astonished. After finishing their meal, the two made their way back to the dormitory. Classes officially commence on September 1st. You can check your class assignment on the school's official website. Please share your QQ number with me. I'll add you to your class group. Li Haoran said as they walked. Sure, Lin Chen nodded, pulling out his phone to send his QQ number via text to Li Haoran. With all your wealth, why not upgrade your phone? Li Haoran couldn't help but ask, noticing Lin Chen's outdated model. I haven't had the chance yet. I'll browse for a new one when I have some free time. As the topic of phones arose, Lin Chen felt a sense of urgency. The current smartphone operating systems mainly included Nokia's Symbian, Android, and Apple's iOS. Symbian and iOS were little to discuss. One was on the verge of obsolescence, while the other was an exclusive system that would never be sold to outsiders. Android has only just begun its journey and has yet to evolve into the dominant operating system for future smart devices. If one could develop an entirely new operating system, it might indeed rival Android. Contemplating this, Lin Chen resolved to promptly establish a company to recruit programmers and bring the operating system to fruition. Lost in thought as he approached the apartment building, Li Haoran noticed Lin Chen had returned to his senses and inquired, "What were you thinking about so intently?" "Nothing much. Just a rather intriguing idea crossed my mind," Lin Chen replied with a smile. At this moment, admitting he intended to develop a domestic mobile operating system might elicit laughter from others. Haha, if you find it interesting, it must be quite a fascinating matter, Li Haoran remarked, sensing Lin Chen's reluctance to elaborate and wisely refraining from pressing further. Li Gu, do you have any plans for the future? Lin Chen suddenly asked. I suppose I will continue working at the school for the next few years, Li Haoran responded, a hint of uncertainty clouding his vision of the future. Compared to his peers, securing a position at the university right after graduation placed him ahead of many. Yet, as a young man, he felt a deep-seated dissatisfaction with the prospect of a life that appeared nearly predetermined. I am preparing to establish a company, but my schedule is quite full. Since you are studying business management, I would like to invite you to join me in this entrepreneurial venture, Lin Chen proposed boldly. Though unaware of Li Haoran's specific capabilities, he assumed that staying on at the university indicated considerable competence. With Li Haoran's assistance, the initial stages of the endeavor would undoubtedly be more manageable. Could you give me a few days to consider it? Li Haoran responded, taken aback by Lin Chen's unexpected suggestion. This matter is not urgent. It pertains to your future. Please take your time to ponder it before responding. Initially, I may not be able to offer you an attractive salary, but I assure you that your compensation will be at least double what you currently earn at the university, Lin Chen continued, feigning nonchalance while subtly enticing him. I will provide you with an answer within 3 days, Li Haoran said, swallowing hard. Though working at the university seemed glamorous and provided a sense of prestige, the struggles he faced were known only to him. The burdens of myriad trivial tasks and a relatively low salary weighed heavily on him. The only advantage was the availability of a free faculty apartment. However, considering his girlfriend's desire to settle down in Shanghai, he could not help but shake his head in bitterness. Although the housing prices in Shanghai had yet to reach the outrageous levels of the future, the average price had already exceeded 20,000 per square meter and continued to climb rapidly, leaving him feeling nearly hopeless about purchasing a home there. All right. Lin Chen smiled at Li Haoran's conflicted expression. You should take a break during lunch. This afternoon, feel free to explore the campus. If anything comes up, just give me a call, Li Haoran suggested as they reached the entrance of Lin Chen's apartment. Thank you for your help today, Li Go. Lin Chen nodded and opened the door to his apartment. Don't mention it. I'll take a short break myself, Li Haoran said. Stepping into his own apartment next door, Lin Chen chuckled and returned to his room. Upon arriving back at his apartment, Lin Chen first turned on the air conditioning, arranged the toiletries he had purchased, and then took a warm shower. Afterward, he gazed at his reflection in the mirror, admiring his height of 6 feet and well-defined six-pack abs, along with his handsome features, feeling a sense of pride. While he acknowledged that he fell short compared to some readers, he believed he still outshone the likes of Daniel Wu. Lin Chen even mused that, even without the knowledge he possessed from his past life, his looks and physique would allow him to thrive in Shanghai, at least as a prominent figure in a high-end club. After indulging in self-admiration for a while, Lin Chen found himself lacking the desire to sleep. So he opened his computer to strategize for the future. However, just as he powered it on, a pop-up news article caught his attention. The headline read that a young man in America had purchased a pizza for 10,000 BTC. This news momentarily stunned Lin Chen, reminding him of the fortune he had overlooked. Before his rebirth, the price of BTC had soared to over 500,000 each, and now it was worth less than a cabbage. If he could amass 10,000 coins, he would never have to worry about money again. Excited by this thought, Lin Chen quickly began searching online for tutorials on acquiring BTC. To his surprise, he discovered that many individuals in the country were already engaging with BTC, albeit with a casual approach, treating it like a form of virtual currency. He even found a dedicated forum for trading BTC, where prices were incredibly low, no more than 1 yuan per coin. Some familiar users were even gifting BTC to one another, leaving Lin Chen both amused and bewildered at the thought of their future regrets. Without delay, Lin Chen registered an account on the forum and posted an announcement, buying BTC for 10 yuan each, unlimited quantity. He set the price high to attract sellers, fearing that a lower offer might deter potential transactions. To him, even 10 yuan per coin felt like a steal. Sure enough, as soon as Lin Chen's post went live, several users immediately messaged him, inquiring about the legitimacy of his offer. Given how easily BTC could be obtained, the prospect of receiving 10 yuan per coin was an enticing opportunity for unexpected wealth. I assure you, it's 100 genuine. I can make the payment via Alipay. Lin Chen replied promptly. He was unfazed by the possibility of being scammed. As long as one legitimate transaction occurred, it would yield significant profit. I have 216 BTC. Are you interested? One user excitedly responded, then sent Lin Chen a screenshot of their BTC balance. Yes, please send me your Alipay account, Lin Chen eagerly replied. It wasn't long before the user sent him their account information, and without hesitation, Lin Chen transferred 160 yuan. Shortly after, the user successfully transferred the BTC to Lin Chen, who quickly downloaded the coins and saved them on his encrypted USB drive. Boss, my friend has some BTC as well. Are you interested in buying? The user messaged Lin Chen again. Absolutely. You can collect from them and sell it to me for 10 yuan each, whatever you have. I'll take, Lin Chen responded without delay. All right, boss. Please hold on. The user replied with enthusiasm. The previous 160 yuan felt like a windfall, and the user was confident that acquiring a few thousand more coins would not pose any difficulty. Thus, after several transactions, word spread among BTC enthusiasts that someone was purchasing BTC for 10 yuan each. By around 6 p.m., Lin Chen had amassed 690 BTC. However, during the course of these transactions, he had also fallen victim to scams totaling over 10,000 yuan. Yet, in light of his overall gains, this loss seemed trivial. Had he not planned to take Xinnan out for dinner that evening, Lin Chen felt confident that he could have easily acquired 10,000 coins that day. Of course, he was mindful not to overextend himself. He aimed to cap his acquisition at 30,000 BTC, knowing that if he hoarded too much, the market could collapse, rendering his assets worthless. Before heading out, Lin Chen posted another message on the forum. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I will continue buying BTC after 10 p.m. tonight. Same deal, 10 yuan each. After posting, Lin Chen washed his face and called Xinnan. Which dormitory are you in? I'm on my way to find you. Xinnan exclaimed with surprise. I'm now waiting at the entrance of dormitory building 3. After hanging up the phone, she noticed her 3 roommates had paused their activities and were now curiously gazing at her. Come on, tell us who you're waiting for. Be honest. When did you start seeing each other? Honestly, did it hurt the first time? Hearing their teasing remarks, Xinnan's face flushed slightly as she retorted. We are merely high school classmates. What nonsense are you all spouting? The trio exchanged knowing glances and mischievous smiles, quipping, we understand. Just make sure to take precautions tonight. In response, Xinnan scoffed and said, you little rascals, just wait until I return to deal with you. With that, she grabbed her bag and stepped out. When Lin Chen arrived at Xinnan's dormitory, he found her already waiting for him at the entrance. Have you been waiting long? I didn't realize how far it was from the faculty apartments. I ran over, and it took me over 10 minutes, he said, catching his breath and wiping the sweat from his brow. Not at all, I just came out too. What were you doing at the faculty dormitory? Xinnan inquired, handing him a tissue from her bag. I'm not accustomed to living with others, so the dean arranged for me to have a single apartment in the faculty dormitory. Lin Chen explained. That's really enviable. Xinnan remarked with a hint of jealousy. Haha, enough about me. What do you want to eat? Lin Chen chuckled, shifting away from the topic. Anything is fine. How about we check the cafeteria? Xinnan felt that as long as she could be with Lin Chen, the specific food did not matter. Do you remember what I said before we last parted? If I succeeded, I would treat you to a lavish meal. Now that I have some money, let us indulge. Lin Chen boasted. If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have forgotten you were a rich man, Xinnan said, looking at him with admiration. Seeing her gaze of admiration, Lin Chen's vanity swelled. Don't idolize me. I'm merely a legend. Spare me. Give you a taste of success, and you think you're a big shot. Xinnan playfully rolled her eyes at him. Let's south go to Pentagon Square. I need to buy a few things there, Lin Chen suggested. All right, today I shall feast like royalty. Xinnan replied cheekily. Have you been settling in well these past few days? Lin Chen asked as they walked toward the school gate. It's fine. But suddenly being in an unfamiliar place makes me a bit homesick at night, Xinnan admitted after a moment of silence. That is perfectly understandable. However, once you become familiar with your classmates, it will get better, Lin Chen sympathized. Recalling his own experience of moving out of the orphanage and later feeling lonely when he first arrived in the big city. Over time, however, those feelings faded. As long as you are here, I do not feel lonely, Xinnan unexpectedly uttered a rather sentimental phrase. After saying this, she lowered her head, her cheeks flushed. Lin Chen could not help but smirk at her unexpected boldness, realizing that this was a different side of Xinnan. A moment of silence enveloped them. A taxi is here. Let us get in, Lin Chen said, breaking the silence. Fortunately, they soon reached the school gate, where Lin Chen stopped the taxi that had just pulled over. With a blush, Xinnan softly murmured an before slipping into the back seat, followed by Lin Chen. Young man, did you have a fight with your girlfriend? I say, men should be more magnanimous. When I was with my wife. The awkward silence in the car prompted the taxi driver to break the ice. Lin Chen chuckled nervously, responding, "Driver, you've misunderstood. We're just classmates and there are no conflicts." To his surprise, Shen Nan chimed in, "Driver, look how heartless he is. He's already distancing himself from me. Who knows, once we get out of the car, we might become strangers." After saying this, she shot Lin Chen a triumphant glance. "Young man, that's where you went wrong. Your girlfriend has clearly pointed it out. Just apologize and it will all be forgotten. A real man knows when to bend." The driver advised earnestly while driving. Yes, you're right." Lin Chen, unable to resist Shen Nan's triumphant expression, playfully ruffled her hair with his left hand. "Hey, you've messed up my hair." Shen Nan squinted her eyes, resembling a contented kitten as she enjoyed Lin Chen's playful torment.